Wow. Look at this. Hi, guys. Welcome to Skytour Livestream. It's me, Marc D'Antonio. And, of course, as always, I have our wonderful Daryl Mason with me. Hi, Daryl. How are you?
Hello, Mark. I'm good. How are you? Hello, everybody.
That's good, Daryl. You know, the building's been open for about an hour, actually. I've been actually doing some testing in there just to make sure everything is up and running after the wind we had yesterday. And it's just stunning. Look at the Flame Nebula right there. Do you see that? I mean, this nebula right here. Look at the details in there. Holy cow. It looks just so pretty. Yes, this is Alnitak here. This is Alnitak. And over here is the second belt star in Orion, Alnilam. And that gives you an idea just how much this takes up in the sky relative to these stars in the belt. So when you look at Orion's belt, you'll actually see this distance from here to here and realize that, wow, the distance from the Alnitak down toward the south is actually there's quite a bit of nebula down there. This entire area is filled with it. So tonight, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to target that dark nebula that we liked so much yesterday that Daryl turned us on to. First, I got to say hi, though. I want to say hi to Daisy and Zoe, who are here. I also have to say hi to PG, who was first tonight. Welcome, PG. Good to see you, Petita. And Cindy Murphy is here. Izabela can't be here. She has an issue with her dog. That's unfortunate. Sorry, Izabela. Daisy and Zoe Amethyst, good to see you guys as well. And, of course, Daryl, you know, fixture with the Skytour Livestream now. How does it feel to be a fixture?
I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know either.
It's okay.
It's good because we do some groundbreaking stuff here, let me tell you. You know, and I do want to welcome everybody else. Donald Kunzer's here with us. Nice to see you, Donald. And I saw Dagger Spells is with us. Good to see you as well. And, of course, the night would not be complete without Judy McClellan, who is here, and Greggy Gilgan from Down Under. Nice to see you guys here. And we will be taking the lead here and telling you all about some really cool things as we go and check them out. Obviously, this is the Horsehead Nebula and the Flame. I just put the telescope on it to check it out. The telescope has done 23 stacked images so far of this. Let's do a zoom in, shall we, to just catch the quality of the evening. We'll go to 75%, almost a full frame. And as we move around, again, remember this is live. This is a live view of this nebula. Look at the details in there. Isn't that beautiful? Look at these little wisps right here. This is just incredible. I'm amazed at how much this catches, you know. Really is something. And then as we drop down below Alnitak, actually the Flame never looked better to me. This seems like a better view of the Flame than we've ever captured. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I think it looks really nice. So let's take a look now down below at the Horsehead. All right, and oh yeah, the Horsehead looks pretty as well. Here is that beautiful reflection nebula with that inner detail. Remember you talk about that? They're all looking so 3D in depth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, looks really pretty. I see that our stack has a tiny bit of wander here. Again, that could be original from when I first started, or it might be from wind. But we're gonna try this anyway.
You know, I see something there, just to the right of the Horsehead. Actually, all along that vertical line of clouds, to the right of the Horsehead. Do you see real fine lines?
In which direction?
Running left to right from that bright line of clouds, especially.
Oh yes, they're this way. You mean yes? There are radial fine lines here. You're absolutely right. They show up better if I zoom out. Let's go out a little more. Let's go to auto, and you'll see them. They're very, very clear.
Dylan O'Donnell, in a recent vid he did of a deep dive into the Horsehead,
Yeah.
He got those radial lines.
Yeah.
and he talked about those. So it was just kind of interesting side note.
Yeah, let me drop us down a bit. All right. Yeah, you can see them. I didn't go down far enough to where they're actually stronger, but they're really here. You can see them very clearly here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very interesting how that works. Then we got this subtle cloud here. You know, it's just so much going on here. It's just beautiful. And we're just waiting for the full dark of night. We're not fully dark out there, but the fact is we actually can see some pretty good stuff even so. Not bad. And I did it this way because I wanted to have Al-Nalam in the view as well. But we did 30 of these, so actually why don't we try just dropping down, and we'll include Al-Nalam in a mosaic. So we'll pause this, and I'm going to name this. This will be Horsehead North. Okay, maybe if I actually can get the actual words to come out right. You haven't lived until you try typing with a 1-second delay on everything. Alright, so Horsehead North. And that's good. And now what we'll do is we will save that. And you'll see the green bar that says it's being saved. And then I'll save it just like you see it here. So if you just want a pretty picture, you can go and grab it from the server. Alright, save exactly as seen. Alright, and then we can clear this. Dump the stack for now. And go back to 1 second. From 25 seconds. There we go. And now let me do my Hyper Finder view, which is something that helps us see everything. And obviously that red is not a real thing. I think that I can get rid of that just by dropping this down a little bit. Just to help you see the nebulae better as we're moving them. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to move down with the telescope straight down. All right. And I'm going to just put the Horsehead at the right near the top. Not all the way up out of the shot. Right there is good. Now we'll just do we'll just wait for the acquisition here. The other thing that's happening tonight, guys, is I'm doing something special. I'm actually doing a process that you might have noticed when we take some pictures that the center has some brightness to it. There's some brightness in the center of the image. So like in our image here, you'd see like a bright core, like a graded bright area. That's a phenomenon that's systemic to sensors. And the center of the sensor is not more sensitive, but it actually gets more photons than the outlying areas. So what I've done is I've applied something called a flat field correction, but I let the system define what that flat field looks like. Basically, think of it as a counter gradient, something that goes the opposite. So if it's bright in the center, it's dark a little bit in the center. All right. If it's bright on the outside, it's a little bit dark on the outside. And then what you do is you subtract that from your image dynamically, and that's what we're doing. And that's why it looks even all the way across the image now for the first time in a long time. All right. So I'm actually going to drop down just a little bit more. Get the Horsehead more close to the top. And then we'll be ready.
That's an interesting solution. Should that stay pretty constant for different images, do you think?
Yes, you can actually make a master flat, which is what I did. I actually took I had the system take 10 shots and average them together. Oh, hey, there you go.
Fast one.
Yeah. The system took 10 shots, averaged them together, and now if you look, this is just even all the way across. We've not had this before, so this is kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do now that we've done this, I'm going to do another set of 25-second shots, a stack of this, and then we'll be able to play with this and get some interesting output from this. First things first, we're going to get rid of our hybrid mode, go into our live stack. And for those that remember now, the stack, we take one image, then we align a second image we take of it, and then we just start stacking images that we take. The photos taken, aligned with the previous one, and stacked on top. So we make a sandwich like this, and anything that has data in it, like dark nebula's data, bright star is data, nebula, red nebula's data, those things all come out brighter relative to the background, which is in here, say, which is just, noise. And if there's dark nebula in there, it will come out. It will rise to the top. All right? So that's how that works, and we're doing that tonight. I'm going to adjust the color here. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Just a little color adjustment, and wow, boom. Just fantastic. Hey, Jessica S., how are you? Thanks, Dagger. That's kind. Marcin, welcome. Good evening to you, too. Good to see you as well. Yeah. As we're waiting for our sky to get fully dark out there, the time out there is 8:01. So we're just about there. The time here is 10:02. 10:02. It's 8:02 out there. And for Daryl, it's also 8:02 because you're on the same time.
Yep.
Hey there, Ufi. How are you? Ufi Otorius here.
Excuse me.
Sure. Ufi has a Facebook page called Vibrationel. You should check it out. It's an awesome page. And she has some really cool stuff that she puts on that page.
It's going to be weird once daylight savings time happens. I'm generally a half hour sky time ahead of you. I mean, though we're in the same time zone.
Yeah.
I'm just farther east, but
From the
once daylight
observatory,
savings kicks into effect, you're going to be dark half hour before me.
In the Arizona desert, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Here in Connecticut, we're dark long before that anyway. Ufi says, hey guys and gals and non-humanoids. How did you know, Ufi? Who told you? Wow. All right, so already we've stacked literally just 6 images, and it's looking beautiful. I'm going to see if I can push this a little bit to show some of those beautiful little radial bands that Daryl was talking about. And yeah, there they are. Right there. Beautiful little lines coming across the screen that are actually hydrogen gas in this nebula. And we can show it a little better, actually. Let me see if I can push those out a little. That might have helped a little.
I'd have to go back and watch that video again.
There they are.
He talked like it's not easy to catch those.
Why? We catch them every time. But then again, let's be clear. We do have a superior sight. And I think he does this from a very bright sky background, which is a heck of an achievement.
Yes.
And we have a very low sky background. We actually have a beautiful night sky. And we have excellent equipment. We have excellent software. We have excellent astronomers to guide you on your way into the deep sky. And the nice thing is, we're always learning.
Oh, yeah.
We're always learning.
You have some neat stuff going on in the dark part of the cloud to the left of the wall there,
In here?
below the horse head. Yeah, there's some faint light features and some really dark features. There's
Yeah,
that
right
one
there.
dark finger right there below that.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, this one I've seen before. That's really pretty. Let's see if I can pull that out a little more. First thing I'll do is I'll let the system tell me what it thinks it wants to do. Okay. Okay, so that's what it wants to do. And it actually does accentuate that, but it does hide some of the other features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drag the whole dark level back a little bit to the left. Here we go. And everything will get brighter, but you'll get more detail. Not yet. That's the wrong. That went too far. That went too far. Just a little more. And maybe there. Oh. Well, here, I can try this. Let's push that in. There we go. Now look at that.
Yeah.
There we go. And why are we looking at it on a small screen? Let's pull that out, man. Yeah. There we go. Look at that now. Look at that. Wow. Of course, the feature Daryl's talking about is this right here. Yeah, that guy right there. See that? A little tiny little finger sticking out there. That's cool. Then we actually have some features over there too. See right here. You know, neat here, right there. And you can also see those wispy little lines here coming off that are really pretty. That's beautiful. Now we stacked 14 frames, and as you can see, we don't have any of that wind issue that we had yesterday, did we? I have a really good feeling for LDN 1622, known as the Boogeyman Nebula. I have a good feeling for it tonight.
I tried to sneak up on you with that last night.
Yeah, you did. But, you know, the funny thing is, it's okay because I wanted to look at it anyway. But it was a dark nebula, you know, because LDN catalog is a dark nebula. So I kind of suspected you were going there, you know, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, well, tonight it's going to be even better. Because we can do 1-minute exposures now tonight. Hey, Tim F., what's going on? Tim F. just said hi.
I see that.
Yeah. Tim F., that's the universal sign for I love you. You know that, right? Well, hey, man, love you too, brother. Good to see you. But I think the thumb has to be out. If you do that, I'm not sure. I think that means, you know, metal forever or something. I don't know. Cool. So to do this, guys, the funny thing is, you know, there's so much going on behind the scenes. You know, I've got to worry about the broadcast. I've got to worry about volume levels, music things. I also have to worry about the chat. I have to worry about the telescope most of all. I've got to make sure the telescope's still doing what it should be doing. I mean, it always does. But you know how it is with these things. This is equipment 2,500 miles away, so I'm paranoid about it, you know, going haywire. And man, I'll tell you, it does take a lot of cojones to be willing to open a roof that far away when you can't see it. So that's why I have the cameras in there, you know. Look at this right here, Daryl. Look at that.
Yes.
Beautiful feature right there. And you can see these beautiful meandering lines here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are really pretty.
How many frames are you going for?
I'm going to do 30. I did 20 so far. Just to match the other. I mean, I could stop at 25. It doesn't matter, but I want to have the noise level be the same as the other frames.
Oh, well, that's why I asked. I was just curious.
Yeah. So we got to go to 30, but that's okay. We're at it's only 25 seconds.
While we're waiting, can we zoom in on that dark finger some?
Oh, this little guy here?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Just deposit 25 cents. Yeah, let me since we're at 21 frames, we could probably go to 100% without much ill effect here. Okay, it's a little ill. We're doing okay, but here we go. We'll come over.
Martian was talking about. Looks a little pixelated.
It does. I have to let it. Yeah. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit. You can still see some noise in there. Let's go to 75%. There we go. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Martian was talking about protostar in a clump at the tip of the finger there.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like Pillars of Creation, you know?
Yeah.
I guess the same idea is going on there.
I wonder if it's a T-Tauri type star.
Uh-huh. You can see it. It's pretty subtle, but it's a lightish shade around the very tip of that.
Yeah, it really is. You can see that.
Yeah.
You know what I like about this system is that even though it's a wide field system that's like 4 full moons across and 3 full moons tall, even so, it does support zooming in to a equivalent higher focal length setting, and it looks pretty interesting still. It looks pretty good still. You know, it's not perfect, but it does support that, and I like that.
Yeah.
The guidings, obviously, you can see the guiding was off, but you know what I realized? I have not told the drive. I have not told the drive what to do, so I'll have to do that. All right. At the conclusion of this photo, we have 26 here. We're almost there. I'm going to go into the computer inside the telescope, which is right here. This is the computer setup, and I'm going to tell it what we're going to have for settings for the guiding.
Is your temperature compensation on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, temperature compensation is on. Here's the temperature scale right there. It's 53.5 in there. It's on. And the actual value of the focus stepper motor is 47,856. And as the temperature drops, that steadily comes down, because as the telescope shrinks, it has to basically pull in to compensate the focus to the same amount. And it does. It's not a replacement for a perfect autofocus system, but that's in the cards as well. It's a perfect autofocus system that will just autofocus the system and not even be a problem anymore. Won't even have to pay attention to it. That's the next thing.
The light bow across the tip of that finger looks a little more pronounced now.
It does.
And then when you go up and to the right, there's one faint bright line there, turning puffy up at the top next to the bright star.
Okay.
And then the brightest part of the wall there.
All right, I gotta pause this because that's the 30 stack.
You can actually see a lot of fine detail and all that.
Up here, you mean?
Yeah, there, and then farther over toward the bright part of the wall, that right there.
Yeah, look at that.
Going all the way up.
Looks
the
like
clouds
a billowing pillow.
Yep.
Yeah, it does go all the way up, and you can see detail in here too. Yeah, very nice. All right, I'm gonna I'll save this now, and it'll save the stack. You'll see the green bar saying that the FITS file, the astronomical format, is saved. There are free viewers of the FITS format that you can get, but I'm also going to save it exactly as seen. So this very image you see can be yours at a low price of 0, because it's free on our server. So as we speak, it'll be going up.
I will post Marc's server periodically. Izabela's not with us tonight. She's taking her dog to the vet, I believe, and
Yes.
I will leave that to her to go in and name the particular images beyond what Marc does, but I will just post to the main server, and you can go in there and find it from there. That's really nice, Marc.
Isn't that beautiful? Jeez.
It is. Yeah, again, the brighter part there of the wall, and all the veins, and
Look at this detail. Subtle
Filaments in it and
spokes.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
really
pretty.
beautiful.
This is going to make a nice mosaic. Did I save this yet or no?
No, I don't think you have.
Good, so I can rename it now to Horsehead South. Alright. And now, when I save it, it'll go to its own directory, and yes. Maybe I did. Alright, so now I can just save it. I think I did save it, Daryl, but it's okay. I'll correct it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to save exactly a scene. Wow, what a night, guys. What a night. I really, this is, so we're done with this, so I think what we should do now is just go right to 1622. What do you think?
Sure.
Sure, I think so. Yep. And if any of you out there want to see anything in particular, any of you that are astro buffs, or even if you have anything that you'd like to show us or talk to us about, let us know. Okay, let's check this out. It's having an issue uploading something. Rename one item. Let's find out what this item is. Just rename it. That's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna check to see what it changed. Okay, so obviously, see, as you can see, here's our stacks already heading on up to the server. Okay, they're zooming out of the desert, going to our server. This one was uploaded fully just 4 seconds ago, and so it goes on and on. So we actually, once we have the Starlink connection, our Starlink connection is there and functional for the compound. It's not functional for our building yet because we need one more piece of equipment called an Ethernet adapter, which the Starlink router does not have. It used to, but it doesn't now. So otherwise we would have been in real time here with no delays whatsoever. But that's the way it goes. God, that's pretty.
It is.
Wow. Okay.
When you had that OneDrive box open, it said you've got 28 issues going on.
Yeah, I realize that's actually the actual shortcut links to. I'll just show you because I don't want you to think there's a problem. All right.
Oh, well, no. Yeah.
See right there, it says there's 23 issues.
No, it says 23.
Yeah.
Sync issues.
Yeah, and these are just the .lnk files. These are the links, the actual files that are like the shortcut link. It doesn't know what to do with the shortcut links, and it's not a real problem. It doesn't stop anything.
Very good.
Yeah, and the reason there's 23 instead of 22, like last night or the other night, is because I added I got an update to SharpCap, which is the program taking the pictures, and that update, obviously caused some issues. It added another link.
I think that's really beautiful right there.
It is. Let me try something. Let's see if this works. I know it works. I've been using it quite a bit. So we're gonna do an annotation on this and save that also in that directory. I suspect it should be pretty quick because this is a well-known area, and there should be no problem identifying this as Sigma Orionis and this is Barnard 33.
Daisy and Zoe asks, can we see the Butterfly Nebula tonight? I should know that, but where is the butterfly?
It's down it's a little more south than Orion, in Puppis or Canis Major, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Or is that the albino butterfly?
I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, can you look that up while this is happening? The
Sure.
Butterfly Nebula? I think the butterfly and the albino butterfly are two different. I know they're two different things.
Give me a moment.
Sure.
must be a different butterfly because what comes up is NDC 6302. It's in Scorpius.
Yeah, that's the albino butterfly is what's down below.
Okay. I don't remember the albino butterfly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't see Scorpius right now.
Right.
Wrong time of year. Albino butterfly.
Yeah. Donald Kunzer asks a very, very appropriate question. Okay, here we go. Pointing succeeded, and look at that. We got our ID. So there we go. As you can see, it identifies all these things, the Flame Nebula, and it tells you everything that's in the region. This is really nice. Oddly, though, it doesn't identify the Horsehead. That's weird. But I'm gonna save the image with annotations. It's gonna go to the same directory, so it'll be there.
Okay. NDC 2240
Okay.
came up when I searched for albino butterfly, and yes, that's in Puppis.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We're going to be moving over that way anyway.
We are. Okay, so our annotations image has been saved. And if you want to see what that looks like, I can just bring that up real quick. And you can see, I know this, hey, what are you doing? Cut it out. I didn't want that. Well, you'll see. When you bring it up, the image actually has the annotations on it, but they're very small. And I have to look to see if I can actually increase the size of that. So that's cool. So that was beautiful. So now we're done with that. And let's clear this. And go now to our other object we want to check out in the most desperate of ways. So now what I'm going to do first is I got to come down here, get into the telescope's guiding system here, and go down. Don't worry about the stars right now.
Whoops.
What happened? Hey, Bobby Burgess.
I just closed a window I shouldn't have closed.
Oh no, did you lose the chat?
I still have the chat, but I closed the main YouTube screen.
Oh. Okay, the right ascension rate, that's the east-west rate, that's set. And now I'm going to set declination rate. We're going to set that down to a very small number because we do not need... the telescope is pretty well aligned out there. We don't really need a whole lot of guiding assistance, but obviously it has periodic errors that I did not train out of the system yet, so that's part of the problem. Okay, that's good. So now let's go down to 1 second from here, and at 1 second we're now going to go into our hybrid view like that, and let's drop the white balance back a little bit to try and get back to seeing it. There we go. Okay. Next, let's go to our planetarium. And that's interesting. Okay. That's weird. I have no idea what happened there. That's the wrong thing. I think I hit a key that was the wrong key. And I did. Okay. I recovered. I found it. All right. So now what we're going to do is go to the LDN object. That's also, if you notice there, there's Vandenberg 62 is right below it. That's that reflection nebula that we saw. And Vandenberg was another catalog that's actually a very good catalog. I looked at a lot of Vandenberg objects in the big observatories. Okay, so there it is. It's really close by. So what we're going to do now is tell it to go there, and then let's go check it out. So
Alrighty then.
Now we're high precision slewing. We're going to go probably to Betelgeuse. There we are. Can't miss it. There's Betelgeuse. And it's going to put it right about here. You have a satellite zipping by it. It's going to probably put it right down here, just about there. A little pocket, like in a billiard table. And then, once it centers it up, it's going to head over to LDN 1622. And I think we'll start by taking a quick look at it. And then we will we'll go from there. We'll actually go forth and see what we can do with it. Looking here to make sure. Let's make sure we're at the right spot.
You know, that's going to be the star that's got the halo around it when it...
That's right.
Exposes a bit.
It will. Yeah, and there's the star right there. It's 56 Orion, I believe. And we'll have 59 Orion as a double star just out of the shot. It's not quite aligned yet. And I should say it's pretty good right now, I can tell you that. All right, so that's that guy. And what we want to do is actually move a little bit to the east, like this. And we'll bring in that other star pair on the left side there that you see. That's that other pair. Okay, so now the object we want is right in here. Can't you see it? You can actually see it by the absence of stars. And after a while, you get to recognize some of these things. But it's actually a pretty interesting location.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick... I'll do a quick 25-second shot. And after the 25-second shot, I'm betting that we're going to see it here. I'm going to actually keep my... keep this up. And it's going to get really, really bright. But it'll show us, hopefully it's not blown out. This is a very sensitive camera, so we'll see what happens. Blown out meaning saturated and just too bright. Okay. Not.
And a satellite.
And a satellite, yes. I think I see it. I think that's the star with the reflection nebula. I think we have it just right. So I guess we'll find out for sure, huh?
Yeah. Might let one or two frames capture and double check it, and then maybe try to compose a shot a little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to do a 60-second.
Okay, try to scoot it down to the lower right a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, there might be something up top to see. I know there is, actually.
Yeah, well, I know those dark patches we saw last night were kind of headed toward the upper left-hand corner last night. The whole thing was a little higher up and to the left, though.
Hey, JSCO77, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for coming, man. It's a good night out in the desert. Really good night. And I'm happy you guys are with us. We're doing a 60-second exposure on an object, which is a dark nebula known as LDN 1622. And it's a beautiful dark nebula. But it has a reflection nebula at the bottom of it. And you'll see that once this picture comes in. All right, and let's get there it is. You see it right there.
Yep.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make this more visible. We'll do a color correction, and then we will do a stretch of the appropriate amount. There we go. There's those dark splotches. And there's Vandenberg 62. That's this little tiny guy down here. Now, this dark nebula is going to come in just so much better in the next couple of minutes here. All right, and it's also known as the Boogeyman Nebula, by the way.
Yeah, it turns out I sent you a different picture of it. I remarked at that time the pic I sent you was rotated 90 degrees clockwise to what we see, and
It's counterclockwise, I thought.
Or counterclockwise, yes. And the actual boogeyman shows up better if the image is rotated. It's like his head is to the right now, just above that reflection nebula.
Wow.
I thought that picture, the other picture, had almost sort of a Grim Reaper look to it. His head looked like he was wearing a hood, like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
And it really stood out. Can see kind of a faint dark band up toward the upper right hand corner.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, and it's curling up and to the left.
Yeah. Right there.
Yes. That is really cool.
Yeah.
A satellite in frame.
Yeah.
Hey, James Dugan.
James Dugan, good day. I just watched a special today, James, on MH370, the flight that disappeared about 1,600 kilometers west of Perth. It was supposed to go to Beijing, and the flight vanished and flew around for an additional 6 hours before it crashed. And your Australian Prime Minister and the head of what's the Australian equivalent to the NTSB were remarking about the faint radio signal propagation that ham radio operators use, and how that might have determined where it actually went down. And that was somebody in Australia that figured it out.
Yeah, I saw that recently.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Those dark blobs really show out.
Yeah, they're starting to look nice now. I gotta see if I can separate them from the background a little bit more. Let's do this. Maybe not that. That's too much. Let's let the system do the selection for me. And pull these back. Pull it back a little. Let's see what we got.
I seem to remember hearing something about that crash in the past.
Yeah.
Had the pilot done something to incapacitate the passengers, or were they basically dead?
They don't know. They don't have any idea.
Yeah.
You know, that they talked about it maybe being a pilot suicide.
Yeah.
He just happened to take everybody with him. The weird thing is, on his home simulator, which people listening to this probably know, he actually had that entire actual route, or at least the end point of the route, as one of his destination points with his flight simulator in a pre-planned thing.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that's why they said it might have been a suicide, you know? Now, just guys, just so you can see, in this image here, let's go full screen on this, all right? So let me just pull it up big. Come on. There we go. Okay. If you look at this image, all right, one of the things to notice here is that, well, let me kind of show you. Right here. This right here, this is a beautiful reflection nebula that you're seeing here. And this is called Vandenberg 62. It's another catalog object all its own right there. Okay, and that object is one that is a reflection nebula at the tail end of one of these dark nebulae. And at the tail end of this dark nebula like that, it's showing us that the actual starlight is reflecting off of the dust that is making up all of this here. This is all dust in here. Interstellar dust. Brought to you by Supernova, right? And supernovae, thousands and hundreds of thousands of supernovae over billions of years, and that's something the universe has plenty of, is time. So, but you can see that, and you can see this reflection nebula is actually coming out really much nicer now.
Yeah.
I will be zooming in soon.
Okay.
It's 8 stacked images, so we got a ways to go.
We're good.
But it's really pretty. Let me just bring myself down the other end here. Okay, this is where I belong. Yeah, I like looking at that. Now, for those wondering, I have the observatory feed is here on the screen, and over here is the broadcast feed, but the camera is here. All right, so sometimes I look there, sometimes I look there, but you're there. I know that. This is beautiful.
Oh,
The
that's
music.
really something.
You can't hear the music right now, Daryl, but the music is kind of cool for this right now.
Super.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I didn't include the music on your side because I didn't want my voice to be clipped out on you. Because it only happens to you. It doesn't happen to anybody else listening.
Yeah. Oh, well, the things we do for science.
Mm-hmm. Marcin, there was a French pilot that was, I think, he wasn't a pilot, right? But you know what this special didn't announce or say anything about? It didn't talk about the co-pilot. It's like he wasn't there. You know, it's like, But one thing that happened was the plane was loitering for 20 minutes going in a circle. They were able to figure that out from that weak signal propagation process. And they think that he was trying to talk, or the pilot or the co-pilot was trying to talk him out of doing whatever he wanted to do. If that's what it was. Or he was talking to someone on the ground. So, now, here's the weird thing. It was just the day after, the flight was the day after, someone that he was really fond of got arrested and charged with a major crime. So, that's something that they think prompted this potential event. He was very politically active, and this was a very highly political figure. I don't remember the guy's name, but it was bad.
Was the pilot French? I thought he was Malaysian.
I thought he was too. I didn't know about them. I don't know, Marcin. We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Because if the weak signal propagation shows us where the plane actually went down, then they will do another search and they will find the black boxes, which are actually fluorescent orange. Go figure. They're called black boxes because no one can see what's inside them, basically, because they record all the data. And they're sealed. They're good to depths of tens of thousands of feet. I think maybe 20,000 feet depth. They won't open up. So basically, they will be the linchpin to tell us exactly what happened. We got another satellite here. We have another satellite here.
Yeah.
Another satellite here. So we got one satellite there. You can't really see it there, but it's there. One satellite here. And one satellite there. But the nice thing is, as time goes on, the satellite trails get lost automatically because they represent erroneous data, and the good data is behind the satellite trail, which in this case here, for instance, is the blackness and darkness of the cloud. So by subsequent adding and adding and adding of the frames together and stacking them, the satellite trail gets minimized on the final result. This is beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah. If you look at the main body of the Boogeyman, the dark part that's going to the upper left, there are a couple of fine dark lines emanating from it to the left.
You mean these?
No.
Down here?
Right there. Those dark lines?
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Real fine.
And there's some little globs in here too. Notice this star has a little bit of illumination on dust in the area, so yeah. This is pretty cool.
That'll be neat when we can zoom in on that.
Well, we've got 13 stacks, so I bet you we can. Let's go to 50% at least and see what that gives us.
Okay.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's really pretty. Wow. Yeah.
I see some light streaks.
Yeah, these light streaks right here. These light streaks are on the sensor, and they only happen when the moon is out. I don't know why. I talked to the people that make it, and they're bamboozled by it as well. So when I get out there again, I will indeed be making a visit to disassemble everything at the front end of the scope and look for any potential that could be causing those light streaks. Look at that. Wow. This is really pretty.
Yes.
Wow. I'm really I'm offended by this Boogeyman. He scares me. Look at that. What a beautiful image. This is actually, to me, this is as pretty as the Iris Nebula, guys. If you remember the Iris that we've done.
Yeah.
It's as pretty as the Iris, but not. It has, the Iris has this one bright star that's doing a very, very big reflection nebula, much bigger than this. And then we have the trailing dark nebula, which is actually denser in the Boogeyman in LDN 1622 here, and than it is in the other object, in the Iris. The Iris is more translucent.
Well, in the main body of the Boogeyman there, the large blob just to the left of the bright star with the halo, that's his head, and the darkest part reaching to the upper left, that's his right arm.
This is?
And farther
this
down,
right here.
That dark streak right there, yeah, that's his right arm.
Okay.
And some of the finer dark stuff is coming out now that is sort of giving detail to the shape. If you look really close at the head, no, farther up, the thing in the middle,
Yes,
that right there is the Boogeyman's head.
Okay.
That there's some faint dark stuff to the lower part of that is sort of giving some definition to the shape of the head.
Right here?
No, right there.
Yeah, Donald makes a very interesting statement. He says, kind of reminds him of the Running Man Nebula.
Yeah.
And it actually does. You can imagine that with brighter stars, this could actually be another Running Man Nebula potentially. And, you know, this is a brownish color, but it's also got red in it. And there's a lot of emissive hydrogen that's emitting red light in this region as it is. So that's actually pretty cool. So there's a lot of things happening in this one image.
Mm-hmm.
What a beautiful image this is, man. I'm telling you. Look at that. Look at this blob over here. There's a blob right there. There's a blob over here. Yes, that's an astronomical term, a blob. So, hey, don't give me any trouble. I'm kidding, of course.
Better with chunks.
Yeah. Let's do a color correction again. See if this can turn a little more black. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And with the flat frame, we get immediate detail that we don't get to see otherwise. So let's actually go to auto and behold the spectacle. Ah, look at that.
Yeah, that's great.
Can you guys believe that right over your heads, there's these things in the sky that just go unnoticed? I'm just like, I find it to be just so incredible. You know, I've never stopped being amazed by the night sky. Just never stopped.
I think that's tremendous.
Well, I hope that Daryl's happy. And if Daryl's happy, then we're all happy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Me, I'm
really
happy.
good. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, we have 18 minutes basically of exposure here. We've done 18 frames at 60 seconds apiece. I'm tempted to try a 2-minute shot here. After we get this. Maybe we'll go to 20. We'll do 20 minutes worth of shots here.
Okay.
On a hot 77, she says, blob! And last night, Daryl said chunks. He said chunks again tonight. Wow. Yup. Look at this down here. Look at this region right here. We have to zoom in on that because there's something really interesting and filamentary going on here that I want you to see. We're going to go to 100%. All right. And take a look now when you come down. Look at this. This red line, okay, this blue line, and that red line, that green line. These are errors on the sensor, little tiny pixels that are calibrated wrong. And so as the telescope tracks, those dead pixels stay in the same relative position, and so they make a little line. It's actually showing you the direction that the telescope is actually tracking in, long term. Well, look at this. This is so pretty. Look at that thing. Wow.
Bonnie, I suppose the term would be clouds. I mean,
yes,
nebula, nebula just means cloud.
Yeah, and we know that
this is Lynn's Dark Nebula 1622, so
yeah.
No, that's tremendous right there. And with a zoom in on
3D.
that. Yes. And I can see the Boogeyman now.
Can you?
Yeah, I think so. His still, that's his head there on the upper right part. And there's lighter and darker parts.
Yeah.
And his right arm, and kind of reminds me of a ghost or a wraith or something.
He looks like the Dementors from the Harry Potter. Had the Dementors.
I never saw Harry Potter.
Oh, DK, hey man, thanks for coming. Sorry you got to work at 5 a.m. I know you got to go to bed. Thanks, brother. Good to see you. Dean Bossador, I would have been in bed 3 hours ago. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah, this is really nice.
Martian likes the term wraith.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sort of look like that, you know.
Mm.
See, even within the cloud, you can see various density differences, and more will come out on further processing, you know. But while I'm here, let's try something. Let's try to push a little bit of that detail. Okay. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. This is just a elementary processing, by the way. When we get to doing more of it, you know, with the within Photoshop and doing our thing, then this is going to become a stunning object. Look at this. This is 3D, man. You can see this black dark cloud here, one here. There's another one up here that kind of went unnoticed until just now. And this is a really interesting location. So we're going to be visiting this more often.
Cool.
Yeah, and I do want to try a longer term exposure on this just to see if it works. But we've got 23 stacked now. There's 23 minutes of stack, and let me zoom in just to see if we got the quality I think we'll need to do some additional processing. I'm going to go to 150%. And don't mind the color modeling. The color modeling I can take care of. That's not a problem. So it looks like we're okay. It's the tiniest of errors in the guiding, and it could be a wind resultant from, and it just possibly from that. But it's ever so slightly. And the stars are focused nice. We're good. So we come back out, and we have this beautiful nebula. Look at that! Holy cow!
That's great.
Look at all nebula up here.
Yeah.
Now see, you might never have thought that you could separate dark nebula from dark space, but look at the difference. Isn't it huge? It's incredible. And it's all in the processing, and it's really a thing. Let's see what a color balance does now. Okay, it's very subtle. It did do a little bit, but very subtle. How about a regular stretch? What's it want to do? So it's going to push down the data a little bit, and I'm going to bring that up. Let's go really high. Wow. Yeah, this is very high. Okay, it's higher than I would probably do, but check it out. Now you see the entire nebular cloud that this is part of.
It's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, really neat.
The sky is brighter over on the far left upper side, a little below the top corner.
Yeah. Okay,
well, lower left of your pointer.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yes.
Well, it might be that there's dark nebula here, and this is a brighter location, or it could be a low saturated emission nebula that hasn't come out yet. Maybe there's something else there. Maybe a cluster of stars that's actually illuminating some dust. I don't know. But this is cool. I'm telling you, man. This is just the most beautiful image.
Yeah.
And the flat frame is preserved, by the way, in the data, so we won't have to flat frame it when we do the processing.
Do you have unsharp masking on?
I do.
Okay.
I could try turning it off just to see how that looks. So we'll turn off unsharp masking. And watch the screen. It'll get a little bit softer. Yeah, see that? that'll hide some. What that does is that unsharp masking sharpens up edges, but it also enhances noise. So now when we go to 100%, it's going to be softer looking. See, you don't see the color as blatantly as when I turn it on. So here, I'll put it on while you're looking at it, all right, and watch what happens. See how sharp it got now? But that's it did. Look in here. See how sharp that is?
Pretty
all right.
subtle.
Yeah, it is, but watch when I turn it off now. Watch here, watch this colors. See that? They soften up.
Barely.
Yep. But I like having it on because that helps us see the detail.
Yeah.
Yep. That's cool. All right. Okay, we're gonna back out here.
Oh, that's great.
It's beautiful.
I like it just like that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me... I think what we'll do is we're gonna actually... we're gonna hold this here. This is 27 stacked. Might as well just go for the full set.
What's that? 27, 30, 50?
No, 30.
Okay.
Because we're at 28 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that's tremendous. The dark blobs up toward the top left. The third one over to the right.
This one. Oh, this one?
Yes. Is that a very slender black
Right
line?
there.
Yeah. You see
Yeah, that is. That's actually really there.
Yeah, it looks almost like a hummingbird or something.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the hummingbird section of the Dementor Nebula. The Dementor Dark.
Bonnie, we are a little bit to the upper left of the belt of Orion.
I can show her on here if you look in the planetarium thing while this does the final ones here. Okay, the stars are off. How'd that happen? Oh, I see what happened.
Maybe it hit something.
Oh, look at that. That's weird. Okay, so our scope has got this right ascension now. It says that, and it says our declination's 2 degrees. And okay, you know what? What happened to time?
Yeah.
Our time got messed up again.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, see? It's all right. That's just weird that it got our time messed up. I must have hit a key, and it must have been counting up by itself. So right now I have it set to do the time properly. Oh, wait.
Yeah, Bonnie, if you see where the scope is pointing, that's a little bit to the upper left of the belt of Orion, the 3 stars.
Right.
And it's a little bit to the lower left of Betelgeuse there.
Oh, I can see it now. Okay. Right. That's where the scope is right there, as Daryl just said. And here's the belt down here. There's Betelgeuse right there. Okay. here is the belt of Orion right here. So basically halfway between the belt of Orion and Betelgeuse, and just to the left is where we're looking right now. And speaking of that, let's go look. What do we got? Oh my gosh, look at this now.
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful subtlety that just came out. Holy cow.
That,
wow. That is really nice.
I could imagine putting around in space and flying around that.
I could too.
That is too cool.
It is beautiful. Let's,
Oh, James, you Aussies are all alike.
James is right. It's upside down. You're right, James. I did another color correction here. Let's do a correction of the overall nebula. It's going to change its look, and then I'm going to wind it back a bit. It's going to be too much, but I want to see more of the detail.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we can see a lot of the detail now. Look at those wisps.
Yeah.
Your hummingbird definitely has a wisp right there, without a doubt. Yeah. And just incredible.
It would be interesting to see if and when you process this, if you could rotate it 90 degrees.
Oh, I certainly can.
Okay.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's just drop this down a bit. Drop that down a bit. Okay, so this is more color corrected now. Wow.
And up in the top right, you can still see that faint curve going around quite a ways.
Where?
Top right.
Top right of?
Top right quarter of the frame.
Up here?
Yeah, farther. Starting right there. You remarked on this earlier. It's a dark curve. It's going to the upper left, and you actually can see it curving back down to the lower left now.
Like this?
There, yes.
And then here?
Start there and go up to the right, and then up to the left, and then down to the left.
Okay. Oh, right here, you mean?
Yeah, all that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow, that's just beautiful. I'm going to do one thing while this is stretched like this. I'm actually going to see if I can grab that dark level.
And it's a slightly different shade inside that curve, too.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, now this is so much detail in here now.
Yeah, that's really something.
Wow, this is pretty, guys, and this is all for you. Here, let me get rid of the name because you guys know where we are right now. We're at the Boogeyman Nebula. All right. See this white bar at the bottom? This is the stacking artifact because we're stacking and it's shifting and it's moving up a little bit, but it's keeping the telescope on that spot. That is just incredible. Wow. Well, we did 34 and we're going to do 35 and we'll stop it at 35. Well, it's not a mosaic, so we're fine.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to pause this now. I've got LDN 1622 in the name, and now I'm going to save it. And you'll see the green bar. All right. And the green bar, if it had come up, it would have said it was saving it. But it's going to save it now. There we go.
You'll have to show this to Izabela.
Oh, trust me. She's not going to miss it because she's going to come through this and do all the table of contents, I'm thinking. And we're going to save this exactly as seen.
Knock her socks off.
Oh, yeah. Does she wear socks?
Well, figuratively speaking.
No, people. I mean, there are people I know that never wear socks. They're barefoot all the time.
I suspect it's probably pretty cold over there, so she probably does.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, this is beautiful.
I'm about to get myself in trouble here, so I better
Yes, you
show.
are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know how women are. Their feet are always cold. So, am I in
Um,
trouble yet?
you're on your way, man.
Yeah.
You're on your way. Now, this is a far cry from what we started with, right, guys? Remember,
Oh,
when we
yeah.
looked at this, when we first saw this thing, it was just sort of dim and not real much coming out. But as we've progressed, we see a tremendous difference in this beautiful object. It started out kind of looking kind of like this, you know, and when we first started, it was even more like maybe where this object was just barely showing. But there's so much data in here hidden. And when we actually come in and do what we call a stretch, where we actually pull the white level and the dark level closer to each other, then that's when we start to see a lot more detail in our view. You know, and so that's, once we do the processing, we're going to do that and pull it out. But this is just beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And we've got 35 stacked images to show for it, and I saved them, and we're all set. So now I can clear and move on. What do you want to see next? You got another LDN object for us?
I was thinking about that.
No. All right, let's get down to 1 second here and do our hybrid mode. Get us going. There we are. Where'd you go? Come back. There we go. Amazing to think that in this space was that object we just saw, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, since we're here, we can actually just find our own, because every one of these squares is one of those objects.
Go to that one just to its upper left.
This one?
No, from where your framed one is, 1622.
Yes.
There's one just to the upper left, right where your pointer is now.
Oh, you mean this one here?
Yeah.
Well, it's in our same frame of view.
Oh.
Remember, this red box is our frame.
Okay.
That's all right. But
LDN above that was moved out of frame. LDN 1619 up the top left.
oh, right here.
That right there.
Yeah.
Or LDN 908 to the right of it.
Yeah. I think we have a couple here. Well, we have LDN 1618, 1619, and LBN 908.
Oh, okay.
So why don't we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
That frame right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
We'll move this into the frame. Telescope's going to look like it's moving just a little bit. It's going to go to a star first, and you'll see the high precision slewing right here. It's going to tell us which star it's going to. And as you can imagine, it's going to Betelgeuse again, which is fine. And it's going to center Betelgeuse, and then it's going to go from there up to our chosen targets, which are Lin's Dark Nebula 1618, Lin's Dark Nebula 1619, and then Lin's Bright Nebula 908.
Ah, okay. Lin's Bright Nebula, I see.
Yeah. There we go. So let's see if Lin's Bright Nebula is going to show up here. Like before, you can't tell what's there until you try, right? So we'll take, let's just take, let it capture its... Actually, we don't have to wait because this is going to be a throwaway image. Let's just do a 35-second image and check out whether we can see anything in here that's worth looking at. And if so, we'll go and make adjustments. This is a very successful night for everything. What we've done so far is beautiful. All right, so we are stacking now on the region near Lynn's Dark Nebula 1618, Lynn's Dark Nebula 1619, and Lynn's Bright Nebula 908. This should be interesting. Let's hope we can see it. Well, that's not going to help us. I have to process this first. Let's do a processing. Okay. The Lynn's objects, by the way, are going to be necessarily dim overall. Okay, well, we have something here.
Yeah.
Okay, we have something here.
Yes.
And here. Interesting. I don't know where to go. Let's get a close-up in our view. We got 2 stars there.
You're still close to Betelgeuse there, higher up.
Yeah, I see it.
Would it be fair to say this is still Orion molecular cloud complex?
Yeah, and we should also see some red from our ever so wonderful Barnard's Loop. Okay, so the upper left-hand corner, this is 63 Orion up here. Okay, and down at the bottom, we should see 56 Orion, and there it is right there. So we are on target, all right? And right near it, okay, is LDN 1619, just down the bottom here. So we probably want to drop down a little bit and put this star, get that star out of the field, and get 66 higher in the field.
Okay.
All right, and that'll bring us to where we want to go. But there's definitely incredible stuff here. So let's just do... What's that?
Yeah. Oh, well, when you go down, you might goose it a little bit to the left also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's do this. Let's bring this up.
I mean, when you're real stark like that, it's pretty obvious where I think dark nebulosity is.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see star chains too.
Oh, duh. I was wondering why I wasn't getting adjustment. It's because I hadn't get rid of the stack. All right, now it's good. So now this star is going to go out of the frame. This star is going to come up. And we're also going to move everything a little bit to the left side, correct?
Please.
All right. So we're going to go up to there. Maybe one more goose. And then we're going to move east. Wrong way. You wanted it to go to the left.
Yeah, you did.
No, I went to the right.
Well, the telescope was moving to the left.
Well, now the telescope's moving to the right. That's what you wanted, right?
Oh, I wanted the telescope to move to the left.
Okay, so not to the west. You want the telescope to go east.
Yes.
See, it just went west right now. You want to go east.
Yes.
Okay.
The other east.
All right, telescope's moving to the left now.
Yeah, I just thought that...
Is that good?
Yes, that's good. Where Stellarium showed where that one LDN object was relative to that star there.
Yeah, it's right near it.
Yeah, it should be higher up and a little more margin.
Okay.
To see it on the left side now.
All right, let's just do a 60-second shot here. All right. So now 60-second shot, and we'll stack it. And we'll get rid of it. So we have this now up here. This is going to be off actually a little bit, so that's probably not going to be that good. We'll find out. We'll see.
I think when you get LDN 1622 post-processed, please share that picture with me.
I'll think about it.
That's just going to be a stunning image.
Yeah, it'll be reminiscent, I think, of the Christmas tree, the Christmas tree and cluster, I think, and the cone. Christmas tree cluster and cone is going to be reminiscent of that. Okay, let's go check it out. That's weird. Look at that little guy. You can't hear the song, but this kind of stuff, there's a song playing right now. This is the kind of song that I would just pull out the guitar and start playing to. Just like harmonizing and adding in some rhythm stuff with it, you know, there, soloing. Really, really good song for that. Okay, that's cool. Is that a flare? Let me look at that. That might just be a flare from the star, but I doubt it. This system doesn't do those kinds of flares. Let's go down here and move over. There's a little too much noise right now for it, but all right, here we go. Yeah, look at that.
Looks real.
All right, I have to check to see if there's a planetary nebula there, but it's weird. It's the wrong color.
Yeah.
Most planetary nebulae will have a green glow.
It looks real, whatever it is.
It does. It doesn't look like it's an artifact of this star that's just above it. It's in the wrong place for a lens flare. All right, well, let's see what develops. I see a nebula there. There's nebula here. This full of nebulae here. Okay. You're talking about your star chains. Look at that one.
Yes.
Okay, look at this.
Yep.
I mean, when you have three stars in a row, that's interesting. When you have 4, that's cool. But when you have 6 or 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars, that's pretty cool. You gotta wonder whether it was created that way or it's line of sight. Like, is this a line of sight, issue as well?
Yeah. Well, this is one of those star fields that the more I look, the more lines of stars I see.
Yeah, I mean, look at these stars. It makes a nice little backwards C.
Yeah.
And there's a hollow in there.
Once as happenstance, twice as coincidence, 3 times as enemy action.
That's funny.
I forget who said that.
Dean, if you're asking me if I play the guitar, yeah, I took lessons from a guy named Dave Stoltz, who was, as it turns out, and the reason I had to stop is because he's a great friend of Greg Allman, and they used to play together all the time. So I heard that, it's like, oh gosh, Allman Brothers, jeez. And I basically decided I can't do this anymore because I freeze up trying to play in front of this guy because he's so freaking good. But I took lessons for a year from the guy, and then I ended up learning on my own. I mentioned this before in another stream. Part of the reason that I picked up the guitar and wanted to learn it was because the fretboard, the little lines and the dots, it made no sense to me. I had no idea what that meant. And so I learned notes. Yes, and this fret you press this, and this fret, I mean, just memorization stuff. But I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to improvise. I wanted to be able to play whatever came on. I wanted to play something to it. So that's when I started learning scales. And the scales are very, very important, and probably the only way you can learn how the guitar actually is engineered. Learning to play notes is one thing. And, you know, if you ever saw Axis of Awesome, they have those 4 notes you always play, right? Every song has 4 notes, and they play through a whole bunch of them. It's a funny video. Look it up. It's Axis of Awesome, 4 notes. But I didn't want to I didn't want to memorize notes, all right? I wanted to actually play music. You know, I'm a creative guy. I don't respond well to just like memorizing notes. So I ended up, that's real, Daryl. Look at that. It's dark red. We got something going on there.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up learning these scales, and one scale that I really clung to and really liked was the pentatonic scale. Has nothing to do with pentagrams and Satan and all that. It's just pentatonic is the name of it. And it's actually a classic scale that you'll find applies to blues. And I started playing blues pentatonic scale and realized, wow, this sounds like blues stuff. And so I went to bed and I woke up at 3 in the morning with an epiphany. I was like, I think I got it. I think I know how to go from all the way up and down the fretboard on the pentatonic scale. And I came down into my office, sat in this very chair, picked up the guitar, which is behind me over there, electric guitar, and I started playing all the way up and down the fretboard. It was like magic. It's like, wow! And I started playing songs, any song I could come up with, a blues scale, a silly, MP3 song or whatever, and I just play right along to it and improvise over it. It's like, I get it now. I get it, and that's the lead-in to better things, is learning the scales, because that actually teaches you how the guitar was engineered and why it looks the way it does. Once I learned that, it's no holds barred. And I'm not very good at playing the guitar, don't get me wrong, but I understand it now. And that's the important part. I understand it.
Imagine the leap you make to play a slide guitar.
And a slide guitar is really cool if you like Western music, country Western. Yeah. This one's not as exciting to me except for this red object. I want to look up this red object and figure out what we're looking at here. But there's nebulae all the way out here. Let me do a color correction, see if that'll help it. A little bit. And let me process this. Okay. And that's probably too much. So let me take it back a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of red, faint red in that image.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Actually, there above the bright star, and then
down here,
kind of a large diffuse cloud of it, sort of to the right of all that, upper right of all that.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, that is that the LDN? Or the LBN. That should be an LBN number. Maybe that's actually a different designation. That might be a different object that we have yet to uncork because I didn't specify what
the
object.
Star.
Yeah.
Okay, the bright star is 66 Orionis.
Yes.
Yeah.
The LDN 1619 should be just to its right. At least that's where it starts. And LDN 1618. Yeah, okay, so maybe that's in here.
Uh-huh.
And then this might be 1618. And this is another catalog object that we haven't uncovered yet because I haven't selected that catalog. But we'll keep it. Okay, well, we got 10 stacked here. Let's go on to something a little more obvious. That could be a little more fun. So we'll pause this.
You want to name that?
Yeah, I'm going to name it. I have to figure out what we're going to name it. It's LDN. What was that one?
1618?
Was it that or? Okay, let's just go back here. Make sure. You might be right.
18, 19.
Yeah, 1619, I guess is what we'll call it, because that's what we're looking at here. The LBN, if it's an LBN, is supposed to be up here. It's probably just out of shot because this is higher up in the frame. I'm going to identify this red thing. That's the most interesting part of this shot right here. Okay. So this will be LDN 16. Okay, thank you. 1619, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll say that's good. And now what we'll do is we'll save it. Okay, and then we'll save it exactly as seen. Dean Bussador says, lots of astronomers play guitar, I've noticed. Well, I play electric, though. I don't play the classic, guitar. I have a nylon string guitar, and it's actually an ugly green color, and it has UFOs on it, and they're pulling cows up into the air with a cowboy going, on a horse. That's how it came. It's from Americana by Gibson. It's funny, funny, funny. It's up in the closet right now. An old nylon string guitar. It's really cool. I got it as a gift. I thought it was the funniest guitar I ever got. Best guitar I ever got. Alright. So, we saved that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Here I am talking. But I'm going to save it exactly as seen here. And there we go.
You ever heard Leo Kottke play the guitar?
No. No, I have not.
Oh, you should check him out. When I first heard Leo Kottke, he and I were both young men.
Okay.
And now we're both old. And he's still at it. He is an amazing guitar player.
Cool.
Plus, he sings along with it. It's Leo Elio Kottke, Kottke.
Kottke,
He's on
okay.
YouTube. Yeah, Leo
Right.
Kottke. He plays 12-string guitar, and
Wow.
he's really something.
Awesome. Okay. Let's go
Bonnie
down.
knows him.
I wouldn't put it past her. She's very learned, that lady. Okay.
He does a version of 8 Miles High, I think it is, by the Byrds.
Oh. Okay.
Are Daisy and Zoe still here? Were they who wanted to see the albino butterfly earlier?
Yeah, it's in Puppis, and that's been coming up the whole time. So they might want to stick around for that if they're still here. I think they're still here. They enjoy what we do.
You know, if the sky's still so good tonight, what about trying the dolphin head again?
Sure, we got so many things to try, right? I think the moon. What time is moon set? Let's see. It's right now the moon is just about 12 degrees above the horizon. So any object in the sky is going to have a substantial additional brightness due to the moon. Yet we still caught, LDN 1622, just beautiful, the Boogeyman. All right. All right, well, let's see how far we go. We've been running an hour and 42 minutes so far. That's not bad. Okay. All right. Dance of the Flowers. Waltz of the Flowers by Tchaikovsky. Oh, see, Bonnie says he came to Durango multiple times, and she went to see him. And he's a funny storyteller, too. That's cool.
Durango's a cool town. I used to go down there every summer. I haven't been there in a long time now.
Well, Durango might be a cool town, but it's a cooler name.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Durango. Wow. That's cool.
Oh, it's a hip town.
I bet.
You know, it's west of Bonnie, west of Pagosa Springs.
Yeah.
Down in the San Juan Mountains, southwest Colorado.
Okay.
If you ever seen the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railway, that's where they're based at, is Durango.
Okay.
The old steam locomotives, you know?
Yeah.
Los Animas River runs through town and
Okay.
runs up into the mountains, and the train runs right next to it for a lot of the way.
All right.
Beautiful country down there.
All right, so maybe I'm thinking maybe what we can do is we go to this sharpless object. It's the lower part of the seagull, and we'll do a mosaic of this guy and then that, and have the whole seagull.
Okay.
Yeah, sound like a plan?
Sure.
All right, let's just do that.
Excuse me for a moment, please. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Okay, telescope's gonna move a little bit. That's a lot of it, but don't worry. Oh yeah. See, what star is that, guys? I'll give you a hint. It starts with an S and ends in Sirius. As you will see right here, it's centering up Sirius right now, the brightest star in the sky. And then from there, we're going to go to the lower part of the seagull. And then we'll do the upper part of the seagull. And I think that this is actually a part of the seagull we've never imaged before, so this is kind of cool. Actually, let me do it the other way. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful nebula. Cannot miss it. Look at that. All right. All right, we're there. It's actually where we want to be too. Let me just go back 1 second. That's not exactly right. Is there another nebula over there that we're missing? Or is that the nebula? I think that's the nebula. I think that's the nebula we're looking at down there. Let's go see. Well, we'll know. Just a second. Let me, Oh, wait. There's a nebula there. Okay, no, I got it right. That was right. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to move a little bit to the east. Okay, a little bit more. And don't want to do too much. Because I don't want to, when I mosaic, I don't want to lose the seagull above this. Well, what I can do is just go up and see. Alright, let's make sure. The seagull's head should be... Oh, yeah, okay. Go for it. Yeah, just come on through. Don't worry. No, we'll wait. That's alright. Okay, so we come up here. And let's see where the seagull's head is. Yeah. There's the head right there. Okay. We're good. Down we go. All right. So these are beautiful. This is a beautiful region of the sky. I'm going to actually zoom in, just check the focus. I do that once in a while. So let's check it out. Looks like we're doing okay. I might make a slight adjustment here. Just a ever so slight adjustment. And this is all training the telescope, training the focusing system. Once it's trained, we should be okay. All right, let me just drop this down a little bit. A little more. Okay, we're getting good. Oh yeah, we'll just be better. All right. Okay. Now our stars look like stars the way they're supposed to. And then we can just come back to this. It's 49 degrees out in the building, 49.4, which is 9.7 Celsius out in the building. For those listening from across the pond or down below the equator. All right. Welcome back, Daryl.
Thank you.
I just focused. This is going to be a pretty shot because there's a lot going on down here. There's two bright nebulae in this image. See, here is one, and there's another one right here. And up here is the seagull, and it goes out of frame, so this will be a nice mosaic. All right.
Super.
All right, I'm just going to move up just a tad. Okay. There we go. Yeah, do give me a thumbs up, guys. We gotta build our channel. All right. And this is gonna be 50-second shot. I'll do 50 seconds. I don't want to blow out the center of this nebula, and that could happen. So let's see if that works. Oh, Donald, thank you. I forgot. Oh, great. Okay. It's taking a picture now. So we're going to pause that. Donald asked me a question before, which I did not answer. He said, when the telescope is on the elevating pier, what we call the lifting column, when it's on the lifting column, is it going to be more subject to the wind? The answer is absolutely yes. So we would raise and lower at will based on the wind. We won't raise it if the wind is above, say, 10 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour. But on still nights, which are most nights, we'll raise it up, and then we'll be able to take pictures closer to the horizon. Again, you don't expect good objects close to the horizon. You really don't. Okay.
I have heard you describe that lifting column as hydraulic in the past, but it's really not hydraulic, is it? It's linear actuators?
It is. It's linear actuator. Yeah. A single high torque, high mass, high weight linear actuator. I have 2 of them in the shop right now, actually. Oh. And they're actually for the roof of the building out here, because I'm going to pivot it right off and pivot it on. I can actually show that as well. Show how it works. All right, let's see here.
Depending on the design and construction, linear actuators can be quite rigid.
Yeah.
Wow. Still with a dependent weight on it and a moment arm of inertia and all that stuff, I suppose it'd still be subject to the wind.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 of them that I would use for the roof, for instance. Look at that. Oh, this is going to be gorgeous. Wow. Beautiful dark nebula right next to this beautiful bright nebula.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tana, how are you? I see Tana's here. Thanks for coming, man.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah?
I think I asked you this last night, too. Can you keep this going? Go to Stellarium for a moment.
Yeah. Okay, so we're literally right about here. This is a pretty good. This right here is actually just do this.
Can you back out a little bit?
Yeah, let me just center for where we are actually.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where we are, and if we back out a little bit, you'll see where the where the seagull is, and that's the rest of the image we'll get in a little bit here.
Okay, there's Thor's helmet over to the left.
It's to the left, yep.
Yeah, very good.
Might be a good night for Thor's helmet after this.
Yeah.
Because the night is actually quite good.
Yeah, you're in the same neighborhood as the dolphin head too, I think.
That's right. It
may be a little too faint.
Oh, got a tiny guiding error here. Well, with the moon out, it's gonna be probably washed out. It's faint as it is. That needs no moon. You can't have a moon for that guy. But who knows? By the time we're done with this and Thor's helmet, you know, I don't know. We might be able to do it.
That's a pretty young moon yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you talk about a line of stars going from up and down, just right of center.
This line?
Nope. Over to the right a little bit. To the left.
This here?
Just a little bit right of center.
Okay.
No, there's a line going almost straight up and down.
Right here?
Right there, and then it continues down below.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, Kathy Brennisek, how are you? Nice to see you. Wow, this is pretty. I like this dark nebula is really contrasted well next to this bright nebula. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is I got to back off in the dark level a bit. I'll go too much and then bring it back. Actually, that might be just only slightly too much.
Tana says, Mark, do you know, can we see the binary star system that is due to collide this year?
Oh, I think, Tana, you're talking about the... there's two black holes that look like they're going to collide, but I don't think we won't be able to see those. In fact, no telescope will really see them other than detectors will detect that it happened. But that's a great question. I don't know of any binary stars that are going to collide. Is there a couple of neutron stars that they think might be spinning up to a collision?
The one I've heard of is the two black holes you mentioned.
Okay.
They're like a pair of supermassive black holes, and they're like 6 billion light years away.
Good. The farther, the better.
Yeah.
We don't want to be disrupted by those gravity waves.
Oh no.
Okay, a stack of 6 so far shows okay. I want to zoom in and see what the focus is. If you notice, our telescope is sticking up in the sky like that. It tends to make me think of a giant sail that gets bounced around by wind. Slightly off, but not as bad as it could be. Not nearly as bad as it was yesterday. I named this Seagull South, as you can see up here. This was a forgotten area. I've never imaged this before. Not bad.
Have you zoomed in on that already?
No.
Oh.
I'm at 8 now. I did not. I only zoomed in just to see the stellar quality. But let's go to 100% anyway, just to see.
I think you should.
It'll be right down here.
There's stuff going on around there too. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that filament. Look at that. That's beautiful. All around it.
Yes.
So this is an emission nebula that also has a little bit of a blue tint to it. You see that, guys?
Yes.
That blue tint is the reflection nebula we talk about, right? And it's blue because the dust in the reflection nebula is scattering the blue light from the stars. And they have every, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet in their spectrum. But the blue light in particular is scattered by the dust. And so that's why we get a little blue tint. And then on the other side here, that starlight does not reach. So it still just looks dark. But it's silhouetted because that same star is probably responsible for causing this hydrogen to glow. It's certainly causing this hydrogen to glow. And that glow is, of course, what we call hydrogen alpha. And there's a lot of hydrogen mixed with dark dust in the universe. And this is a location where that's also true. Pretty cool. That looks nice.
It does. That would look interesting with some focal length on it.
Yeah.
There's actually a whole lot going on in there.
I know it. Look at that. That's just, I like this little tendril that's snaking through here.
Yes.
Now that's probably a light year or more long.
Huh.
You know?
Do you have a name for that?
I do. It's Seagull South. Are you able to read? I don't know if you can read the screen. Can you read the screen up there?
Well, I can see that just barely. Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, I meant like an official name.
Oh, yes, that's a Sharpless object. Let me go. Sharpless is another catalog, and that's Sharpless 2-297. Sharpless 2 catalog 297. Okay. And then, so that's that right there. But then the other nebula that's over to the left side is Lynn's Bright Nebula 1083. No, it's 1038, sorry. So if I come out of this, you should, if I come down and I zoom out, you'll see another nebula over to the left side along with the seagull up the middle. Okay, so we pull out. There's the other nebula right there. Okay. And then there's a seagull that we're going to go up and finish off here. This is 11 stacked. We're going to go to 12, which is in the next few seconds here. We have 4 seconds left. Then we'll pause, save it. Okay, there we go. We're going to pause it now.
Wow.
Save it. You'll see the green line. There it is. And it's already on its way up to the server. And then we'll save it exactly as seen. All right. And now we can clear it. And we're going to pull this star all the way down to the bottom. All right. And here we go. I'm now going to get... What's that?
Oh, you should see this. I'm going to post it in your chat.
Okay.
This is another picture from the Mount Lemmon telescope, 32-inch.
Okay. Oh, wow. We just took a picture of that.
And I'll go ahead and post it to chat, too.
Well, I'll just show them. This is what Daryl just posted. We just took a picture of that. That's the little nebula we just posted. This was taken with a much bigger telescope from a site elsewhere in Arizona. But look at all this. Look at all this detail in here. Look at that. Look what's going on in here.
Oh.
Wow. We can see some of that.
Reminds me of the face hugger from Alien.
Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it? So knowing this, we're going to see what we can do to pull some of that out. That's pretty cool. I'm liking that a lot. All right.
Tana, are you saying the 2 stars that are supposed to hit this year are in Supernova 1987? That's far down in the southern sky. We can't see it from here. It's down in one of the Magellanic clouds. You have
Large
to be down
Magellanic
like
cloud.
Yeah, thank you. You have to be way, way down like Australia to be able to see that.
Gee, do we know anybody in Australia? I don't know. James Dugan.
Is James still here?
He's still here.
Binary star system due to collide.
Greggy Gilgan. Also from Australia. He's still here. He might be, actually. I'm not sure if he's still here.
Bonnie, is that what you're calling the binary star system that's due to collide this year? I wonder if she's thinking of Ada Carina.
I am wondering.
Yeah, that's also far down in the southern sky, though.
It is. Okay. Let's do a quick zoom here. That's good. It's amazing to think that every dot you see is a sun, potentially with planets and life. Yep, I think that way. Okay, this is the star I want to bring down to the bottom here. So I'll leave some overlap so we can mosaic. That's good. All right. So now we're going to do 55 seconds on this as well. And we'll see what we get. We got to wait a couple more seconds to allow our guide star to be acquired. Okay. I think we're good. And now we go. Let's go into the stack and There we go. All right, so we're now taking a picture of the central region of the Seagull. And then we'll take a picture of the northern region of the Seagull as well. All right.
I wonder if this is what... I'm sorry, Bonnie, if I said Bonnie and I meant Tana. According to a study from a team of researchers from Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, a binary star system that will likely merge and explode in 2022.
Interesting. I had not heard this. Beautiful. So normally when we take pictures of the Seagull, we only take a picture like this. We never get that bottom nebula down there and the rest of the stuff down there. That's the bottom of the Seagull Nebula that has the sharpless 2-262 in it. And really fascinating stuff. Farva, you being a funny man. Good to see you, Sean. Thanks for coming. Where's our Ray Bobel? Ray is always supposed to be here. Ray, you gotta be here, man. Where are you, man? He'll hear it. He'll show up. Watch. He's gonna hear it in his head. Raymond Bobel. You're the man, Sean. Okay, we've got 3 stacked right now. And then we'll keep going. This is really pretty. Look at that. Yeah, what are you going to say?
KIC 9832227 is a contact binary star system in the constellation Cygnus, about 1,940 light years away. It's identified as an eclipsing binary with an orbital period of about 11 hours. The system is predicted to result in a merger in 2022, producing a luminous red nova reaching an apparent magnitude of 2, or about the brightness of Polaris.
Wow.
It's in Cygnus. The merger of the 2 stellar cores was predicted to give birth to a new, hotter, more massive main sequence star. However, a reanalysis of the data September 2018 revealed that the prediction had been based on a wrongly timed observation, negating the predicted merger.
So the merger isn't going to be... Is it going to be happening or what? Hey, thanks, Sean.
All it says is the cause for the period variation is still unknown, but it is unlikely that the system will end in a merger at the predicted time. That's a Wikipedia article. That's all it says. I'll try to keep my ears peeled, Tana. If we hear about a luminous red nebula, red Nova in Cygnus, so we'll probably be hollering about it when it happens. Cygnus isn't visible right now anyway, but Cygnus is visible in the northern sky. It's more of a summer object, summer to fall. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not gonna work at this time of the year, unfortunately. But I look at this. Look at this. This is looking so beautiful.
It is.
All the detail up there in the seagull's head. Wow.
Is the purported seagull the dark thing or the bright thing?
Well, okay, I'll give you my impression of it. Let me just go out and go zoom out. Okay. I think this is the seagull's head right here. This is the beak and the crack of the mouth. That might be an eye. If you think of it that way, the back of his head is turned this way. The beak is going that way. His head is turned. And this is one wing and this is the other wing. And these might be his feet. This might be a foot sticking up as he's about to alight on a fence post so he can steal your french fries.
Damn seagulls.
They
okay, maybe I see that.
There's a place, a seafood place here at the shoreline, and when you go down there, if you choose to eat outside, you are underneath these fine fishing lines that are crisscrossing. They're anti-seagull nets, because if the seagulls try to come in, they hit those little nets.
Mm-hmm. People are surprised we have seagulls here in Colorado.
Well, people think they're only around the ocean, but they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find them circling overhead. You'll find them circling mostly trash dumps, actually. They circle dumps a lot.
Yeah. I was surprised when I first came here so long ago to see seagulls up in the high country here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they don't stick around for the winter, but...
Yeah. Sean, Beavis and Butthead seagull.
Yeah. I'm a seagull. Tweet, tweet.
Shut up, Beavis. It kind of does look like it kind of looks like Beavis, actually. Yeah, that's true, Tana. So this is nice. We've got 9 stacked. We're gonna go just to 12, and then we'll stop and then go up north, bring the head of the seagull down to about here, and do the final set, and then we'll be able to do that. So we did Seagull South. Now we're gonna do Seagull Central. Then we'll do Seagull North, and then we'll move on to Thor's helmet, I think. This is really a good night. It's hard for me to stop when it's a good night, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Marianne says she's listening to us, even though she's not able to be with us. I think she's lying. I think she just says that to, she got the alert and just saying that to make us feel good, but I don't think she's really listening. Why would she be listening to us? She's in Hawaii.
Really?
Come on, man. That's, you're too busy, like, hanging out with Hawaiians.
Party hardy.
Yeah, exactly.
Hawaiians don't like tourists.
They put up with them because they have to.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It's like Native Americans, right? Indigenous. You know, they're actually they're a group that is very close to themselves, but you know, they are also, they know that they need to win the hearts of white people. So they have powwows, and you know, white people come in, non-indigenous. My mother was indigenous. My mother was Passamaquoddy and Irish, so she was a mix. You know, so not pure by any stretch, but that was for me. That was enough, because I learned all about Native culture because of her background. You know. This is beautiful. We're at 12 stacked right now, so we'll stop this. Just to keep the stack the same. It's not important once you get up above 10, 12, you know, it's very little difference. But we'll pause it, and we'll save the Seagull Central, and then save it exactly as you see it. You know, if some of you actually want to try putting the pictures together yourself, you certainly can. So that's been saved, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take the seagull's head and put it down near the bottom to get the rest of the top.
Did
you
just save it exactly as shown?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'll do it again, and then there'll be 2 of them there, but that's fine. I'd rather have 2 than 0. Okay, so I did it, and I did that. Okay, so now we can clear this, kill the stack, and we'll have to clear that image once we come back in, which is fine. Alright. I think there's so much detail in that seagull's head. You even see some beautiful coloration in here, which is nice.
Yeah.
That says a whole lot about what's going on physically there. Alright, so now let's go and bring up the seagull again. There's the head once again. And we're now going to zip north and put that head down here. And you'll see much more of the seagulls that actually exists up top here. And then once we put it together, it'll be kind of fun to look at.
Yeah.
Because you can go, you know, see we got more out here and everything. So I don't want to move it left to right though, because I want to keep it at one panel, you know what I mean?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go down just a little more. Actually, our last shot had this in it, so I could go down even more. Because the head wasn't gone. I mean, it doesn't matter if the head just overlaps a little bit. Alright. That's where we'll go. Go away, satellite. We don't want you, satellite. Do you remember the Discovery.com commercials? Hello, Meteor. Hello, Meteor. Have you heard of Discovery.com? It was bad acting intentionally. Do you remember that?
No.
Ah, the atmosphere. Ah, the atmosphere. And it's just guys with a big foam rock that's been attached to them, and they're just spinning on a little harness, and you can see the lines and everything. It was really quite funny. Those commercials were really funny. Okay, so that's good. We're going to do, again, 55 seconds after we acquire our guide star, which is coming right up. Okay, you'll notice the telescope is pointing a little bit toward us. That's the south is toward us in this shot, so south is, you know, this way, you know, north is that way. Okay, no, north is that way and to the back side of the building. East is that way and west is that way. All right. So that's cool. All right. So now we can go ahead and do our stack. So you see where the seagull head is now. It's down at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right. And it was here. So now we're going to start about here. About here. So this and above will fill the frame. Alrighty. And let's clear this. And you'll see the rest of the seagull down below. All right. Let's do a little bit of this. All right, and that's good. There we go. So the rest of it's right there. Neat. Alright, so we stacked 2 now. We're going to keep going for a little bit. Red guy says he's 100% Irish. My wife thought she was indigenous until she did 23andMe. Turns out she's 100% Irish. Actually, those genetic companies, they're only estimates. They're not actually... It depends what pool they've picked from, you know. They don't know what they don't know. And if they don't have a sample, then they won't know. I'll give you an example. My nephew got his done. And it said that he was 2% Neanderthal. No lie. 2% Neanderthal. And I turned to him and I said, don't you ever tell anybody that. It'll be the endless joke. So I didn't, you know, and actually he hasn't talked about it. And I won't tell you who he is.
I used to work with a guy. He was from Buffalo, New York, and he moved here to Colorado. And you look at the dude, and you would swear he was a Neanderthal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was very swarthy, dark complected. He had the beetling brows and the whole 9 yards. And the guy had the metabolism of a freight train. I mean, he ate massive quantities. He brought grocery sacks full of food for lunch every day. And he climbed the incline. It's a thing here, just west of town in Manitou Springs. It's a big incline up the mountain. All the fitness freaks around here climb it regularly. He goes up it every day.
I know where it is. Well, it's like people who go to Red Rocks and they do the stairs or the steps at Red Rocks in Colorado. They go up and the stairs are like stone benches that are like amphitheater style.
Yes.
And people will literally walk from the bottom with someone behind them holding elastic ribbons and doing resistance, and they would walk up step to step all the way up to the top. And we're talking about 250 feet minimally, maybe more actually. So it's really cool.
The incline is huge. It's
I believe it. Good night, Judy.
I forget how long it is. Good night, Judy. Uh, the incline used to be a funicular railway that ran from the base of Mount Manitou up to the top, and
Okay.
the base was right next door to the base station for the Pikes Peak Railroad.
All right.
And
Is Pikes Peak Railroad a cog railway?
it is.
Okay.
And tourists would come up there, and they would go to Pikes Peak Railroad, and they would find out how expensive it was to ride the train, and then they would turn around and cross the parking lot and go ride the Manitou Incline instead, the funicular, which was it was a pretty low budget operation compared to Pikes Peak, but you know, it was cheaper and a lot of people did it, and it was really tons of fun. Girlfriend I had back in the day, she worked up there. She was one of the train attendants, and the tracks somehow got wiped out one night. I always had my own theories about it, but they say it was a landslide, and they wound up shutting down the funicular, the railway, and they went up and built a trail out of it, which is a series of steps going up the mountainside. It's I forget. I'd have to look it up. It's very steep, and it'll kick your butt if you do it. And you better be in shape, and you better be acclimated if you go up to do it. And again, there are people that do this thing every day or multiple times a day. And
Wow.
it's thousands of feet long, and it's straight up the face of the mountain. It's really steep.
Wow. That's got to be very difficult.
Oh yeah.
Wow. All right, we're at 7 here.
Speaking of Neanderthals, though, one time I was driving around over here on the east side of town, and I saw a Neanderthal riding a bicycle. I mean, he looked like he was straight out of Central Casting. You know, again, the beetling brow and the facial features and all. And he had bright red hair.
Wow. Well, he was probably more likely related to a Viking, probably Norse, possibly Norse descent. You got some Norsemen around you. Good night, Tana.
He looked more like he was, like he stepped off the set of Quest for Fire.
Okay. Let's see if the color correction helps us see some more detail here. How about the regular correction? It goes the wrong way. I don't like when it darkens it. I'm going to pull back on that a bit. That's probably too much. Or maybe not. Let's try that. Okay. So there's a very subtle nebulous detail in here. So again, this is the top part of the Seagull, and we call that Seagull North. Right, so this will be Seagull North. Donald Kunzer says, was it Rod Perlman? Not with bright red hair.
Now, this guy, he was actually, he was kind of lanky.
Oh.
And very muscular. But he just had a caveman look to him.
Neanderthals are very
Might have been
short.
Nordic.
They're very short. And they actually, their brow wasn't vertical like ours. It was more sloped back.
Yes.
And their brow ridge was enhanced. So they had that jutting jaw, and the brow being the forehead literally was like if ours is curved like this, theirs was curved like that. You know, it's much more flattened toward the back. I assure you, my nephew doesn't look anything like that.
Oh, the guy from Buffalo, New York sure did. I mean, again, you looked at him, you'd think, boy, central casting. You know, like he just came out of a caveman movie. Excuse me just a moment, please. I'll be right back.
Okay. A weird guy. I guess you're a hobbit then.
Nice hobbits.
Oh. Gandalf, huh? Not you, you know. Dean Bosador says, test show I'm French Norwegian. What you're saying is I'm not a Norman? Well, don't know about that. But I do know I spent, several weeks, a couple summers ago in Norway because doing a speaking tour around the country. And I was in Bergen, I was in Oslo, and a couple other places, like a number of other places. And I have to say, it was a very enlightening experience because everybody over there was just big, not fat, big, just larger. Bones were bigger. Everything was bigger. And I really kind of felt small. They're not giants by any stretch of the imagination, but there were actually pretty tall people and just people that had girth to them. I mean, I was amazed at what people looked like there. You know, and unless you knew them, they paid no attention to you. They're not really friendly. They're kind of closed off. But that's okay. You know. Okay, we're done with the Seagull here. So there's going to be Seagull South, Central, and North, and have the whole Seagull in there. And so we can clear this now. And go off to the next wild blue yonder. And that's going to be the helmet. Thor's helmet. And we'll check that out. Thor's helmet's pretty small in our view, but you know something? It actually looks pretty good sometimes. Alright. So there we go. And we'll come down here. And we're going to head over to Thor's helmet. Alright. That's where we're going to go. First things first. This is not a test. This is just a 55-second exposure doubled up. Alright, it wasn't being stacked, so you just saw them being separated by the amount that I actually moved. There we go. Okay, so from the north of the Seagull, we're going to now head over to Thor's helmet and witness the death throes of a very, very hot star that has blown off its outer layers of hydrogen gas and the whole envelope of gas actually around the core of the star. And that gas is going to be oxygen and hydrogen. And in this view, you'll see mostly oxygen. So it's an amazing location, amazing star. It's called a Wolf-Rayet star, or WR star. Wolf like the animal, and Rayet, R-A-Y-E-T. And they are a less understood phenomenon in the universe. So they're actually kind of interesting to learn about. And there's a number of different kinds we've identified. But many of them are just, here it is, many of them are just they're typified by seeing a central star like you see with a planetary nebula or a nova or supernova, and that central star has blown off its outer layers and sometimes makes multiple bubbles. This is an example of a multi-bubble object. So that said, there it is, and we're going to move it over a little more, center it up, all right, and bring it up into the view by going south with the telescope. Telescope's pointing down now, going south, thus making it go up in the view. Okay, one more.
Is Carina a Wolf-Rayet star?
I actually don't know. That's a good question.
I seem to remember reading that somewhere recently.
It might be a Wolf-Rayet star. I mean, if it is, I don't know what kind of WR star it is. But you'll find out. You'll look it up, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now I'm going to name this Thor's helmet. Alright, there we are. Alright, and let me just do some housekeeping here.
Evidently, yes it is.
Okay. So this is Thor's helmet. It's a Wolf-Rayet star outburst. Okay. And it looks green right there. And we're going to try something different. Right off the bat, I'm actually going to go to try to do a 2-minute shot. 120 seconds. Don't know if it'll work. But we'll find out. I didn't really do any tuning or anything, but we'll just see what happens. I want to see if we can see more detail than we normally do. Alright. And I didn't even... I don't think I have to worry too much about the focus. Maybe I do. We'll find out. And off we go. Stacking for 2 minutes. Egads, what are we going to do in that time? We're going to go back to Stellarium. Okay. Now here's something for you. When you see our view, our rectangular view there that you see, if it was perfectly horizontal like this, then it would mean we're looking directly down to the south. When it starts going like this, it means that our telescope's leaning over and heading into the west. And if it was like this, it would be to the east. So this is sort of a giveaway saying that we're looking at something that's actually past the southern meridian, the meridian to the south. So that's pretty interesting.
One I hadn't heard of before.
What's that?
The Peony Nebula.
Oh, that's probably going to be like a flower. Where is it?
What I'm trying to find out.
Okay. We're 24 seconds away from seeing what 2 minutes does. If there's any wind whatsoever, this will spoil the shot. So we'll just see. This is sort of a test. If it works, we'll let it go again. I don't know. I have a weird feeling it might have worked. I'm not sure. I can be wrong, but we got 1 second to find out. And... Boom. Wow. Might have worked. I think it might have worked.
What's that?
2 minute shot. Looks like it might have worked.
Yeah.
I gotta zoom in and see. Alright. Alright, let's come out of this. I'll zoom in really quick here. There's so many stars in this region that it's really hard to differentiate. I'm going to go right to 100%. Well, that wasn't so bad. That actually did okay. There's a slight bit of problems, but you know, I'm trying to capture some of the more subtle detail that's in this nebula, because it is only a 10-inch telescope. I say that. I mean, if we had a 16 or a 24-inch, this would be far and away something way more exciting. But it's pretty exciting as it is. You know? And a satellite, of course. Wow. I was surprised it worked. I mean, let's hope that the second exposure looks good. Okay. By the way, if anyone wants to make giant prints of these, you know, we have 4,000 by roughly 4,000 by 3,000 pixels, basically, and in our camera. And so that would blow up to a pretty good size. But if you want something really big, there is a way I can actually take these images and literally make these big enough to put on a wall. Okay, fill a whole wall, and you know, up-res them. And I've done that before. I've had doctors' offices call and say, "Hey, can you do like this Horsehead Nebula on the whole wall of the building?" Yeah. You know, you just need good computing power to do the conversion, and that file's huge. You know, you could be in like many gigabytes of data, or if you're not careful, you can jump into terabytes of data. That's something else. Imagine seeing a giant horsehead on the wall, Horsehead Nebula. You walk up to it and touch it and say, "Look at that thing, look at that, look at that star." Yes, plane wave would be nice. Yep. Hey, there's Science Bob. Oh, very cool, Science Bob. He's shooting on a C-14, a Celestron 14.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. M64. That was the galaxy that had the supernova in it that we looked at, wasn't it? Or was that M66? Remember we looked at the supernova?
It wasn't M66. That's the one under Leo. Trying to place M64. Might have been. I forget.
Okay. Hey, why did it ignore us? One of my. Why is it ignoring? It's we would have stacked 3 by now, but it only did 1, and I think part of the reason is because there's so many stars that it's having trouble, and the exposure is so long, it's having trouble doing alignment. So we're gonna have to abort this, unfortunately. That's crazy. That's not supposed to do that. So.
M64 is a black eye galaxy.
Oh, okay. That wasn't where we saw the supernova.
Coma Berenices.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've wasted 4 minutes here because it says it stacked 1 and it ignored 2 because it couldn't align. That's no good. Why is it having trouble aligning? Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm afraid we're going to have to clear this. And I'm going to change this to 70 seconds, 75 seconds.
Well, couldn't align. The image looks sharp.
Yeah, but I don't know why it had trouble aligning. It said 2 were ignored. So we're gonna see what happens. All right, so we'll clear this.
Where are you located, Science Bob?
I think he told us once.
You must be in the eastern part of the country if Coma's high enough to image it already.
Eastern part?
I would think so, yeah.
He's in Auburn, Alabama.
Ah, okay. Southeastern part.
Okay. Okay, let's see what this does. I have to... I'll investigate why it had trouble stacking this. It should not have trouble stacking. Now, the more stars, the better, but for some reason, it couldn't do it, and I don't know why. Might be another reason that I'm missing. Yeah, so where is everybody? I'm in Connecticut. I'm in northwestern Connecticut. And imaging using the observatory 2,500 miles out into the desert in Arizona that we put in. The SkyTour Livestream Observatory. There's room for 2 more instruments in there as well. So we're looking forward to getting some takers who want to put a telescope on a pier in there. You know? And we will have high-speed internet out in the middle of the desert, thanks to Starlink with almost 100% coverage. Not bad. Okay, so it stacked those, Daryl, with no problem. Stacked 2 so far. So, not sure what caused that to do that, but we'll find out. Dean, where are you in Michigan? Are you in Flint? I bet not. Are you in Bay City? That'd be cool. I knew someone in Bay City. Very, very good friend. Huh?
I knew someone in Bay City.
You did?
She said she was from Bay City anyway.
Wow. Was her name Kelly?
No.
Okay. Not the same one.
Her name was Jessie.
Okay. No. Satellites won't bother us. Science Bob says, you have satellites, but that won't hurt tiny Thor. Yeah, that's true. It won't. But I will say this, okay? I usually crop these out. Okay? Now we stack 3. Jessica, you're in the upper you're in the upper peninsula? You're in the UP?
She's a Uper.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you're not.
Not anymore, he's not. What's a message like that supposed to do anyway?
I have no clue. And what do they I mean, actually, I think they're bots. I don't think they're actually people. They're not links, right?
I don't know.
Well, if you highlight them, they're not a link. Deans in West Jackman County.
VUN space dot FYI.
Oh, whatever that means. I don't think they're real people.
Sure are a lot of them nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it would make a person who's lonely on their stream feel like, you know, they're not. Look at this, Daryl. This is looking pretty good.
Yep, it is.
We're traveling to the Thor's helmet, guys. We're just going to go right inside of it. That flat field process really works wonders because this would otherwise be like a hazy, bright area in the middle. And with the auto flat field setup, this works really nice. So we'll keep this going for future exposures of other things too. And it saves me from having to do it once we start processing the raw stuff. Wow. Guess we can stay up close, right? No reason we can't. I also noticed something over to the right. Did you see that? It looks like there is some kind of... There's a cluster here of some kind. I wonder what that is. Wow. Not bad. Now, this is the star, by the way. The Wolf-Rayet star we're talking about is that star right there under my pointer. And it's blown this bubble around the star, but it's also blown off other material that has since been started to get dispersed and moved around. This dark nebula here, this is dark dust in here. Well, that dark dust wasn't blown off by the star. That dark dust was here already. And it's probably part of the reason that this looks the way it does. Because as much as you may not realize it, this dark dust has its own gravity, right? All mass does. So in the absence of other things, whatever's there has more gravity than anything else. So it will actually be something that can rip apart a cloud of gas or create a filament like we see here, you know, or possibly the final shape could be determined entirely by the mass around this object. Here you see this line of dark nebula coming right through this heart of Thor's helmet here, and it winds around and goes out here, and there's more dark material all throughout here. We just don't see it in here. Maybe under processing we'll see it. And speaking of that, let me actually let's push this a little bit. We're gonna stretch it, try and pull out a little more detail. This will way overdo it, but let's try it. Okay, so now you can actually see some different coloration. Like you see some reds over here and over in here, right, and here. And Thor's helmet does have a rich supply of red material in it. You can actually see a lot of red stuff. There's hydrogen alpha in here. That is ionized hydrogen that glows red. And we have this oxygen that's glowing this greenish blue. It's really beautiful. And we also have the dark nebula that is actually superimposed on it because the star is behind it and released that whole outbound cloud of hot gas. But that's a lot more detailed Thor's helmet than we've seen before. This actually has come out quite nice.
Yes.
And for 75 seconds at a clip, the stack is really well done. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually going to go into the stack here, and I'm going to save it and let it keep going. Alright, so we have the stack saved as of now. And then I'm going to save it exactly as seen as of now, just in case a satellite just happens to pass right through it and destroy it. Once we have Starlink, the other thing we can do is we can do all this live stacking, but I'm going to save the raw files too. Okay, the individual files as, you know, uncompromised files, so a lot more data will be sent up. But we're going to have that data to process and remove bad data from the images if we get it. We haven't had that kind of experience, though. It's actually been pretty good. Look at that, though, huh? That's really pretty. We're on our 10th and final frame here.
Okay.
Almost looks like a star, doesn't it? It's got
Say
5
again?
lobes. It almost looks like a star. It almost has 5 lobes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Or starfish, perhaps?
Yeah. Echinodermata. You know, when starfish are just little young starfish, you know, when they're just tiny little creatures just hatched, they're bilaterally symmetric like humans. They're the same on the left and the right. They're not showing pentamerism, which is the 5-sided symmetry. Not when they're juveniles. When they get older, they do. So I think that's kind of neat how it crosses into a different type of symmetry within the same species. It's fascinating how the Earth works. I think I'll stay here a while. I'm fascinated by all you humans. And there's our 10th frame. Let's do a zoom in here one more time. Yeah.
When I was looking up Eta Carina
Yeah.
as to whether it's a Wolf-Rayet star, and yes it is, the article also mentions something called the Peony Nebula star.
Okay.
You might say it Peony or Peony, P-E-O-N-Y, the flower, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Had them in the same sentence, and the Peony Nebula star is a candidate for the brightest star in the galaxy. It's another Wolf-Rayet star. It's in the constellation Sagittarius,
Wow.
toward galactic center, and blah blah. Now they say it's the second brightest star in our galaxy.
What's the brightest star then?
I don't know yet.
Probably a hypernova.
They say Eta Carina.
All right.
Eta Carina
that's
puts
beautiful.
out 4.7 million suns worth of light.
Wow.
And the Peony Nebula star could be even brighter than Eta Carina. They think right now
That's
it's
incredible.
3.2 million stars. Got a cool Spitzer telescope image of it too.
That's neat.
You want to see it?
Sure, let's put it up. Put it in my Skype chat,
I will.
and then I'll put it up in the for people to see.
There it is.
All right.
I love the Spitzer images. They're wide field infrared.
Yeah.
And I suspect they're going to look very different than what Webb's going to look like.
Maybe. All right, let's go check it out. So, this is what Daryl was talking about. Look at that thing, man. That's just beautiful. Wow. Imagine that, huh? Of course, we can zoom in and see all these hues. This is all false color, guys. This is not actual colors. But, so dark nebula showing as green here is not really the color it's supposed to be. It's the false color. But the Spitzer was an infrared telescope, so these brighter spots are the warmer spots. And these little filaments are the cooler spots. Look at that.
If you've seen
nice.
that video I posted before, it's called Floating Along the Milky Way.
The Spitzer one, yeah.
It's a Spitzer video, and at one point, I want to say it's about the 5-minute mark in the video, they show pretty much that same view, and it's looking toward the center of the galaxy.
Well, that's awesome.
And they say the Peony Nebula star, I think they said, was about 27,000 light years away.
Wow.
Toward galactic center.
Okay. Now we're going to go here. This is a night when we might see some details in NGC 2438. What is that? It's an open cluster that has something odd in it.
M46?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're going to Osmodiska, which is right here. Sure, Dean.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no. If you want to expand on that, go ahead.
Yeah. Dean asked Marc, can you explain again what dark nebula is made of? Yeah, absolutely. When stars die and they go supernova, they give off a lot of the gas. Their guts get spread to the interstellar medium. But also, what happens when stars age, during the process of aging, before they explode, they get into these phases where they're these big, giant, super giant stars, right? And these super giant stars are going to be red because the temperature in the center is millions upon millions of degrees, but the temperature way on the outside is very low. And when I say way on the outside, we're talking about many millions of miles. So, for instance, if you put Betelgeuse where the sun is, it'd go out past the orbit of Mars, maybe almost reach Jupiter. Okay, that's how big that one star is. Well, when the star has a large envelope like that of gas, in the outside it's so cool and low temperature that it can actually make molecules out there. And sometimes it makes molecules of carbon, sometimes molecules of hydrogen. And what happens overall is you also have silicon out there, all right, stuff that is made in the core of the star, dredged up and moved out into the outer atmosphere. And when the star blows up, all that stuff gets pushed out further, and all the stuff inside gets blown out at high speed to the rest of the interstellar medium. When that happens, now you have silica particles, you have carbon atoms, you have hydrogen atoms, and that stuff becomes molecules of gas, and the carbon atoms grow and clump together and become carbon molecules. And the silicon atoms grow and become little tiny silica molecules, silicon molecules that end up growing and growing and growing. And this is how you get a piece of interstellar dust. It could either be carbon molecules, it could be silicon molecules, it can also be a combination of the two. And these silica particles in particular will attract other materials onto their surfaces. And when they do, it's very cold in these dark nebulae. So what will happen is these objects will freeze and end up on the surface of these particles of interstellar dust. And these particles that freeze on the surface of the interstellar dust become ices, and these ices consist of methanol, formaldehyde, carbon dioxide ice, water ice, carbon monoxide. So it's very cold out there, and that can happen. So that is anatomy of a dark nebula. It's going to be particles like that. I know Daryl says brevity is the soul of wit, but that one couldn't be short, Daryl.
No worries.
Okay, this is Measure 46. It's an open cluster in the constellation Puppis. And right there is an oddball thing. What is that oddball thing? Well, if we zoom in, you can see how different it looks. Let's go to 75% on this, because this is a live view. Okay, so we have 1 second exposure here. You see a little star in the middle, and you see this object surrounding it. Well, what we're looking at there is a planetary nebula. It's a dead star. That little dot in the middle there is a white dwarf. And you might notice that that little dot in the middle is a different color than the rest of these stars. That's because that little dot is actually hotter. And it's actually got a little tint of blue in it, doesn't it? All right. Well, these stars are very hot, and the reason that they are here at all is because the star, when it died, sometimes when a star gets to that red giant phase I told you about before, it doesn't explode. It just shrinks back down. That's for a star smaller than a certain mass, like our sun. Our star will go up to a red giant, and then it'll shrink down. But as it does that multiple times. It pulsates. It will. And as it does that, it's going to puff off outer layers, but you're going to just get free of the star and keep going and make shells around it. That's what happened here. We're seeing shells of gas that went around this particular dying star. And that those shells become the object we see as a planetary nebula because they're gas, but they've been forced to glow by the hot stellar core left behind. Okay, and that's what we see there. The white dwarf is causing these gases to glow like that, and the color tells you what they are. The greenish blue is oxygen, and the red ring around the outside is hydrogen, and other elements as well. So I'm going to just do a little focus adjustment on this for a minute.
Point out too that when you look at that cluster M46, all the stars in that cluster are about the same age, and when you look at that planetary nebula, it is not in the cluster. It's a foreground object. We're just seeing it along the same line of sight. It's a much more, I guess, much older star than the stars in the cluster are.
It is. As a matter of fact,
it's had time to wind down to white dwarf status.
Yep. Yeah, and the neat thing about this particular cluster is that it's something in the order of 4,000 light years away, but the star here that died, the white dwarf, is actually 2,000 light years away. So it's literally that much closer to us. I'm just doing a focus adjustment here, guys. I'm just going to continue to focus a little more. Let's watch what happens here. Oh, I believe that, Jessica. I believe there's plenty of places to view. All right. I'm just running the focus here, as you can see. Okay, that's good. That's helping me figure out where I'm going. You know, if you ever want to see, for instance, the colors of stars, one way to do that is to actually defocus them. So we've done this before, where we've said we'll defocus stars, and you can see when they're larger blobs, you can actually see the colors better. And that's something that's very helpful. You can also turn off the drive system on the telescope and let them drift through the field and take a photograph of that. And that will make them leave a trail that is a much clearer color. All right. Okay, I think we're almost there.
The white dwarf looks pretty sharp there.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little tiny donut-y effect on it. I'm just going to see if that's an illusion. I mean, you're right. I'm trying to get it down. Okay. All right, we'll try that.
Curious to see what kind of detail we can see in the
I know.
Planetary Nebula tonight. We've seen a lot before.
I mean, I'm looking now, and I can actually see, even now, I can start to see some detail.
Yeah.
So let's go out of here, and let's try to capture some detail. Okay, this, we don't go very fast in this one because this is only, it's a very bright cluster, but it's also, the planetary is bright too. So to go any more than 20 seconds, you'll actually blow out that planetary in terms of its brightness. So what we're going to do is go stack that right there. Clear this first. All right, now let's see the readout from this sensor. Let's process that properly.
Ooh-wee.
And do a color process. There we go. See, even that is too much. So what I have to do is I actually literally have to drag this down and pull this curve down. So there we go. See that? That's seeing a lot of detail. We're at 125%, by the way. If we go back to, it's like what to see the whole image of the sensor. This is the whole sensor. That's 4 full moons by 3 full moons across. 2 degrees by 1.5 degrees. So, but we can zoom in. Okay, we've stacked 3 already. But we can zoom in here and actually check out the quality of this little planetary nebula as it gets better. This whole zooming process is going to be very, very fast once we have our Starlink server up and running. I should say once we have access to the Starlink server. It's running out there now. That's pretty good, Daryl. That seems better than we've had.
I'm not sure about that. I know we've seen surprising amounts of detail in it before.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that dark notch up at about 12:30 or 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I can see the faint reddish shells around it on the upper left quadrant, and
I can see
more toward the bottom, and
see the brightening here and here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try something else.
As with a lot of planetary nebulas, you'll see the green of the
oxygen.
Oxygen first, and then you can start seeing the red shells around the edges, which I guess are hydrogen, maybe neon.
Yeah.
We see those on the other planetaries, the dumbbell and others.
I see a little area right there. You see that? I'll show you. We
Yeah.
can zoom in.
There you go.
See the squiggly line.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is, in reality, the shell is not homogeneous, meaning it's not the same everywhere. There's differences, and so this shell, from our perspective, looks like a perfectly round spherical shell, but there's a lot of convolutions, some knots, and some other areas in this shell that make it very different. If we saw it up close, it would probably look like a tangled mess, but roughly spherical. So that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure, but some parts of this could also be coming toward us, and some parts could be going away from us. That's another possibility too. In fact, in planetaries like this, that's almost always the case, because you're going to have the other side moving away from us, and the other, or moving away from, coming toward us, and one side moving away from us, and that's something that's really interesting. Okay, we've stacked 12 here.
Now that you zoomed in more, we can see a lot more detail there.
Yeah, I actually probably should take down the processing just a little bit, because I think that's eliminating some of the detail we can see. This might be good.
On the inside edge of the ring there at about 4 o'clock, there's a bright spot. And,
I think that's a star.
Oh, you think?
That looks like a field star that either is in front of or likely behind the nebula.
Okay.
I see an inner ring as well.
Yes.
And there's another detail right there that's showing up that's really interesting.
For the different colors of the different parts of the shell, the green versus the yellow or red, different elements. I think we've talked about this before, when there's some debate about those different shells having been emanated from the star at different times.
Yeah, you would tend to think that the star shells on the outside were first to come off the star, and they had more time to move out into space before the second shells came out. But that makes sense when you think about how stellar evolution works, right? When a star runs out of hydrogen, it's got a lot of residual hydrogen in its outer envelope, right? But it starts to swell up and it puffs out. I mean, the hydrogen envelope goes first. And the oxygen made later in the star is going to be deeper inside, so that's going to take time to dredge up. And if oxygen was part of the star's chemical makeup originally, then that explains this. But stars of the size of the sun don't make oxygen. They might make carbon at the very most, but they won't make nitrogen atoms or oxygen atoms. Certainly not fluorine or anything up beyond that. So you say, well, how did this green get here? How did this get here? If that's oxygen, it's a star the size of the sun. Sometimes elements are made that are more high in the periodic table through a different process than a nova, a supernova, and a planetary process. There is a process called neutron capture, which happens in stars like the sun, which allow for oxygen to be made in a star like the sun, or other higher elements to be made in a star like the sun. It's actually a very complicated pathway, through lots of levels of decay and so forth like that leads to this happening. But in a star like the sun, strictly like the sun, any oxygen that we see in our sun's nebula, hopefully from a long way away, would indicate to us that we're looking at a star that was made with this oxygen in the first place. So it's pretty cool. Good night, Bobby. Great to see you. I think Science Bob said he had a hyperstar for the C14.
Okay. Must
In
be
the
nice.
past.
That's a lot of glass.
Yeah. You know, I was trying to work out a way to just change automatically from the hyperstar back to the original secondary mirror, and then swap in and out, remotely. And I would end up having to have a piece of hardware that crosses the corrector plate location and stays there to hold it in place, like a little clamp. And if even if it's black, it's going to make a diffraction spike. You know?
That sounds like that would be
There's nothing that can't be done.
complicated.
Well, it would. I mean, if it went like this, I can see my hands here. Oh, you can't see my hands. But you have one thing in there with a little arm, and the other one's sitting out off the telescope. You rotate one out, rotate one in. But it would have to seat itself. And that means changing the way that it seats. And it's probably easier to actually just get a second telescope.
Yeah.
But I would like to... I puzzle through it. I like thinking about it. Okay, we've done 28 of these. I think that's more than enough. And this is going to be named M46 up here. This is measure 46. Hold on. M46, and that's going to see... That's the open cluster, OC. Why is it doing that? I keep typing, and it keeps changing it on me. It changes the focus of where I'm pointing. Oh man, stop. Jeez.
Bob
Man.
George Gamow, he did a great book called 1, 2, 3 Infinity, if I remember correctly. It's a classic book on physics, but he is a really funny guy. He was quite a comedian. Tells a lot of funny stories in the book, too.
Let's go back to this. Okay, now one more time. Let's try to do this. M46. Thank you. Space OC for open cluster. And PN for Planetary Nebula. Abbreviations that shouldn't go together. But they do when line of sight causes that. Alright, now as we'll say this, it's not going to be a zoomed in view, it's going to be really, it'll be zoomed out when we're done. Alright, so now we can save it. It'll go to its directory called M46OCPN. We saved the FITS file, now we're going to save it as exactly as seen. And that exactly as seen is going to be what you're about to see on the screen. That is what's being saved. Nice. Okay, so we're good. And now it's actually 1:14 in the morning, and I'm gonna have to go. So
Yeah, I was.
This it's easy
I was
to.
about to beg out of here too.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do this, let me tell you. Well, guys, thanks for coming along. Look up on the server, and these will be ready in the next little while. Maybe the telescope's going to be open. I mean, not telescope, but the server is going to be up, and the building will be up all night to continue shipping all of our files up, and that looks like that over there. Well, not quite that. Let's go back to this, and that's what it looks like. So you see our files being shipped up over here, and it just does more. It'll just keep going and going and going, you know. So it's good, not bad. All right, so that said, this is all good, and now what we'll do is come back down to 1 second shots here, just to get us, give us the fanfare on the way out.
Well, thanks for having me, Mark.
Sure thing, Daryl. It was great to have you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that Boogeyman. If you get her
Me too.
in process, that was quite a picture.
It came out nice, huh? It was really
Yeah.
pretty. We're very happy with that.
Okie dokie.
All right. All right, guys. Well, Daryl, thank you.
Sure.
And we'll check in tomorrow when you see the results of this.
Very good. Okay, good
All right,
night,
guys.
everybody. Thanks for coming. And I'm going to call it a night. I'll see you, okay? Take care, Mark.
All right. See you later, Daryl.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, now, for those that stick around, you can watch the way we close up, which you might have seen before. And first things first, we're going to shut down our connection to our planetarium. There we go. And here's our sleepy time music. All right, and now we will exit this, and then we can exit our planetarium. So much fun. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I feel like Bob Ross. You remember the guy who painted all the happy details? You know, not bad. Okay, and now that's good. All right, so now what we do is we actually park our telescope, and you'll watch the telescope move over my head. You watch it move down and move into its final position, and when it does that, it's gonna stop moving, and then I will shut it off remotely. There we are. That's its park position, and it'll shut off. Okay, telescope is off, and now it is totally out. Now I can actually disconnect from the mount. Telescope disconnects. Sleepy Time by Cream. That's funny. And then we can exit that. So there we are. All right, and then the last thing that we do, actually before we do that, I'm just going to disconnect our camera here. I just do things in an orderly manner. I don't know if I really need to do these in order. I might be able to just shut down, but what I do keeps me safe. Here's our roof, here's our telescope, ready to go night-night. And so what we do is just bring up my little program I wrote that helps us do what we have to do, and I just have a simple number, and wham, here comes my roof. Actually, I gotta probably hit enter on that, don't I? Wait a minute. Oh. Okay, something for all my intents and purposes. Did I mess something up here? Maybe I did. Let's find out. Interesting. I tell you, I don't understand what happened there. I don't get it. Well, the telescope is stopped, that's for sure. So this looks like it's hung. Let's go up in here. Let's get this. All right, well, we got something weird going on. How about that? So I'll just have to start it again. All right, well, I'll figure it out, guys. In any case, I won't make you hang around to watch it. I'll do it. But you guys have a good night, and we will talk again soon. And we'll be up and running probably tomorrow if it's... Oh, I can't do tomorrow. Medical procedure Tuesday early morning. So we'll talk soon. All right? So you guys have a good night, and make sure that these will all be up on the server here in just a little while. And we'll be back with you. All right. Actually, Dean, the cover doesn't have to go on because the telescope has a long dew shield on it that keeps all the dust out. I've been out there several times to check, and we're fine. All right. You guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. All right? We'll see you later. Mm-mm-mm.